Oh, that's good. No, this is Jets Cast with Jeremy. We're going to talk about the New York Jets rocked the scrimmage with Atlanta today. But who? Who? Who stood out? We'll talk about it right after this. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Go! Amazing! That's my boy! That's my boy!
Breaks away from a sack and completes the pass for first down.
Oh, Kittle just may have made the most amazing catch.
He fights for the first down and gets out of bounds too.
It's no good. Overtime. Oh, what a catch! How do you drop that? What are you, Jamal Adams? Touchdown!
This is a touchdown all the way.
He reached over the pylon. San Francisco beat Cincinnati. Sorry about that. I'm eating this wonderful dish. It's called Devour. I don't know if you ever heard of it. And it's like Alfredo mac and cheese with chicken and pieces of ham. It's called Alfredo chicken cordon bleu macaroni and cheese. And I must say it's wonderful. Let's say hello to some people in the chat. R&R, first one here. Can't get enough Jets. Give me some chaos. I'm going to try to give you some chaos. Although I do have to eat this because I'm hungry. Brees Hall run was bananas. This is exactly why I was so excited about Brees Hall and why I've been talking about him. I don't think the league knows what's coming. I have him on. I've drafted 2 fantasy football teams so far, and I have him on both teams, and I'm starting to feel really good about that. Harlan, what's here, buddy? Hopefully, we'll have a big show. But what's big? How do we define big? Is it the amount of people? Is it the quality of the show? We'll find out. I'm probably going to have somebody coming in a little bit later, but I wanted to have some alone time with you guys. I need to have some alone time. It's time for us to talk. What's up, Stephen Engel? Our New Jersey boy. Eating his Taylor ham, eggs, and cheese sandwiches. Or pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwich, depending on how you say it. We got Johnny G. What's going on, Johnny G? You want a man? How you doing? My niece is in the house. Hey, Uncle Jeremy. Hey, Leah Cravat. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Hope to be in North Carolina soon someday. I do want to go back there. I always want to go back there. I'm always thrilled to go to North Carolina, to Raleigh-Durham, and I'm always super depressed to leave. Daniel Faust, one of my snackers in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. The young Chiefs in the clutch, building his channel, future superstar. One day we're all going to be begging him for stream time on his channel when he's the biggest channel in the world. Falcons suck. Pork roll. I love it. Okay, that's great. So he's a pork roll guy. So he stands with Nick Shine. It's all about the pork roll, right? Well, let's get into it. Let's start with Brees Hall. So Brees Hall, can't wait to see 2000. Today run was incredible. He really is amazing, isn't he? He's special. He's special. It's great because we had that guy Aaron Butler in here constantly babbing on and on about the mighty Ravens run game with Dobbins, the freaking elf from that little elven character from Harry Potter or whatever his name is. I'll throw the guy some socks. Let me tell you something about the mighty Ravens running back. No one's going to know who the mighty Ravens running backs are in the NFL, or no one's going to care when Brees Hall is dominating, and then we have a top 10 running back behind him and Michael Carter. We're going to have the best running back duo in the NFL. Mark my words, and it's not going to take a long time for the rest of the NFL to realize it. Jets mess. Snacks. I don't know. I would consider this a snack because me and my wife are going to have dinner later. But I'm hungry now. This would be my wildest dreams come true if Michael Clemens came onto my stream. Of course, if I said something to upset him, I'd have to buy steel walls, and it would be a whole thing. I'd probably have to go into hiding, call one of those secret agencies that give me like secret identity. I'd have to start over in some godforsaken place like Iowa, like live in Iowa. I don't know. Maybe it'd be better to let Michael Clemens come and kill me than to live in Iowa. Can you imagine? Where's Nick? Nick is exhausted. Nick is, when it's hot out, it's hard for him. He's, and Steve Engel is going to love this. Poor little Nicky had to work in the heat and deliver packages. But apparently he had a hard day at work. So he's afraid that if he starts getting on one of these shows, he's going to stay up late and not get the sleep he needs for tomorrow. So, yeah, ground and pounds. Well, we might not be able to ground and pound because we might score too quickly. That's the problem. Payo time, what is up, my friends? Football is definitely back. I hope you are well too, Payo time, and I'm looking forward to more collaboration this year and talking football with you. I certainly would like to talk to you and get together after the Rams-Bills game. I'm really going to have fun watching that game, or I don't know if it's on the same. I don't think it's on the same time. I might be driving back, but I'm definitely going to follow it. I'm not sure what exact time it is. Is it Thursday? Is it the opening game? Maybe that would be great because then I could watch it. But oh no, I'm going on a red eye that night, so I might have to follow it on my phone from the airport. But whenever the Rams play the Bills, I think that's going to be an incredible game. So I can't wait to see it. Nick just got a job for Amazon, so he's driving the Amazon van, I guess. One of those, and I could can't you just totally see him driving the van, his little Amazon uniform, just chucking packages on people's porches. And if they have if it's a package that has like New England Patriots on it, he's going to like throw it extra hard so it breaks. Yeah, so yeah, Amazon's trash. I know. Amazon is nothing like the U.S. Postal Service. So I'm with you there, Stephen. So it is Thursday, September 8th. Yeah, I'm on a plane on a red eye that leaves about 10:30 at night. So I'll be at the airport before it's up, maybe near the end of the game. I might get the game in. It might be over by the time I have to leave for the airport. I don't know. But I'm really excited. That's a great game. Really great game. Aunt Gina stopping by. Hello, Aunt Gina. Green Bean's terrified of us meeting in person. It's so funny. I can't believe you're not going to the opener. That would have been the best. Aunt Gina in the hangar with the Jet Lounge. That would have been awesome. Like just following Green Bean around, telling people how you remember when he was in diapers and how messy his diapers were. Just embarrass the hell out of him. Question: what has been your greatest encouragement from the Jets this offseason? Well, we're talking about today, which was probably one of the best days we've had in our preseason because we played against another team. And unlike with the Eagles exhibition game, preseason game, we played really well against them today. So today was a really, really good day for us. It wasn't involved Zach. So there were some days where the encouragement was that Zach had some practices where he was perfect. But today, our young running back, Breece Hall, who we have very big hopes for, broke out like a 70-yard touchdown run, which was just out of this world. And he looks every bit like he's going to be a superstar running back, like a really, really, really big problem for the league type of running back. And that's pretty encouraging. I think Elijah Moore taking the big step. He's showing every indication that he's taken a giant step for us. I think he's going to be a true WR1. I think it might start to show this year. So that's pretty encouraging. It's hard to pick one thing. Conklin, we might have a tight end that's even better than we thought. Sauce Gardner got an interception today against Marcus Mariota. That was exciting. JJ got a sack. Jermaine Johnson gets a sack against, the number ones. Carl Lawson gets a sack, which is really encouraging health-wise. It's a sign that Carl Lawson, might be his old self, and we dodged a bullet because sometimes you never come back from an Achilles. So that could be a big deal. That's a really good sign that he got a sack and that he's playing so well. Yeah, you saw that touchdown, right? It looked really good. It's exciting. This could be a very special running back. I mean, and on top of everything else that was happening, and already having Michael Carter, to get a guy like this with Breece Hall and the way he's looking, it's really exciting stuff. Sylvie, awesome growth on YouTube. You rock. Thanks for taking my question. Of course, brother. Of course. You were there right in the beginning giving me advice, man, when I was like right starting out. So always appreciate you, my friend. I'm looking forward to meeting you at the Jets opener. I'm going to text you. We're gonna hook up phone numbers or whatever. So it'll be easiest for us to get it, to text each other or whatever. And we'll definitely get together in the parking lot. I'm going to be with the Jet Lounge people. There's going to be some good food. I hear some guy makes his own mozzarella fresh there at the stadium. So I'll hook you up with some of that. So, we'll definitely get together. Still a bit concerned about our run defense. Do you think we are going to be able to stuff the run this year? No, I don't think that we're going to be great against the run. I mean, I want to be wrong. And I would love to be wrong. And I think we're going to be better against the run. I don't think we're going to be great against the run. I think if you broke us down to 4 categories or 5 categories, let's say 5 categories, our running game, our passing game, our pass defense, our run defense, our special teams. I would rank our run defense 5th if I had to predict that our run defense would rank 5th out of those things. I think our pass defense obviously will be excellent. I think we're going to get a lot more sacks this year. I think we're going to really put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. It's not just the sack statistic. I just think we're going to put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, get a lot of sacks, force more turnovers, be a much better turnover team. But I think that the running defense part of our game is going to be the weak spot in our game. I do. But I think we're going to be better than last year. I don't think it's going to be gross or disgusting. Excuse me. Speaking of gross and disgusting, I'm going to take another bite of my food. What's that? Wow. All right. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. Sean McAteer, what's going on? How you doing? You're saying what's up? I say what's up. What's up, Death Family? What the hell is going on over there? I got something down there. It's not my dog. 10-10 Panthers just tied it up. Oh, there's a game on? Oh, I got to follow that. Guys, I got to play a video for you because I got something going on downstairs. So watch this, and I'll be right back. Don't not be Thibodeau. And here it comes. It's about to come in. Oh, my God. They didn't. They took Sauce Gardner. Oh, my God. They don't want an edge. Maybe he likes Jermaine Johnson at 10. Then we're not going to get a wide receiver?
Garrett Wilson, wide receiver. Oh, my God. No edge.
Who's sitting there?
The Jets traded up. Are we taking JJ? Because I know Braden is in New Zealand saying, we should get Lily, Mike. He's definitely saying that. JJ! We got Johnson at 26! This is great! Yes! They took Roger McCreary, they didn't take Dean, and we traded up. We can get the Kobe Dean. It really is. They took Breece Hall. Wow. I mean, look, I love Breece Hall. But there's also Jeremy Ruckert, who I think is the best tight end in the class personally. They took Jeremy Ruckert. Yes! We got a Jeremy. Oh, and the Jets pick, and it's Max Mitchell, offensive tackle. We needed that. That's wow. We took Michael Clemens. I never heard of him. A defensive edge. We're back. Anyway, who are the Panthers playing? I wonder. Nice breakdown. I completely agree. You mean the breakdown where I had to come to? Oh, the breakdown of the 5 things. That was pretty good, right? Like, I never thought of that before. I just invented that. Like, maybe that is a way people analyze teams, but like, I didn't know that. I just kind of did it on the spot. So I'm proud of that. But yeah, man. I think that one of the things that could help us is like guys like Whitehead and just Reed and Gardner, just better tacklers all around the team. Quan Alexander might be a help. Sherwood actually looked really good. I'm kind of excited about the potential that Sherwood might bring. So I just think if every, it's not just defensive line. If every player is better and we just improve the defense, the run defense will improve. But until we get a proven solid guy in that line that's really concrete against the line, or another dominant line, like a high level linebacker, like a Nakobe Dean, who I wanted so badly. Like if we get a guy like that, that's just really quick and fast and plugs holes, I think there's a lot of potential for our run game to improve. But our run defense to improve. But I really think that in this league, if I had to pick, I think you want to be good at both, but I think if I had to pick, it's like to have great cornerbacks and to put pressure on quarterbacks and have great cornerbacks is like the biggest key to success, right? Teams that sack the quarterback create turnovers with pressure, and then on the other side of the ball are able to run the ball well and can in the clutch make the passes that they have to make. Like I think those are the key things that are gonna that can lead to us being special and being really competitive. So, and I see that I believe that there's a lot of potential for us to be those things, right? I see a lot of potential that we're gonna raise havoc, that we're gonna get a lot of sacks, that we're gonna have this special, this better offensive line, that Breece Hall is gonna go crazy, and I do think it's gonna have a big effect on Flacco or Zach Wilson, whoever's playing quarterback. And I think it's going to make their job a lot easier. And I think then we'll get to see a faster development from Zach if he's the guy. If he's the guy. As much as I love him and believe in him, if I'm going to sit here and talk about the Jets, I want to be realistic and say he still has to prove he's the guy. And that's not been proven yet. So it still has to be proven. I think I agree, Michael Clemens. I think that we'll be able to do a lot more because of a great defensive line. I think it's going to change things a lot. We could blitz. We could do a lot of different things because we could trust our cornerbacks one-on-one, and we're deep. We're deep in that position. It's an interesting thing to say. Exactly a year ago, we thought it was our biggest weakness, and now it feels like one of our biggest strengths. So, let's see. I would have been excited to get Dean, but I'm now just as excited about Breece Hall. Yeah, I like when I say Nakobe Dean, forget about like the not taking Breece Hall. I just wish we found a way, like if we would have been able to keep another pick. Nakobe Dean slipped really far. So I don't know if he slipped past Ruckert. I doubt it. I think he was gone by the time we picked Jeremy Ruckert, but I think he went like 78 or something. So wouldn't it have been cool if we somehow would have been able to have, we still get Breece Hall, but we still would have been able to have like the 80th pick or the 75th pick in the draft, and we would have gotten Nakobe. That would have been, pretty amazing. It would have been like, I'm being greedy. We did really good, but Breece Hall is a stud, man. I got him on 2 fantasy teams, so it goes beyond just my belief in him with the Jets. It's not just that he's a Jet. I've because of that, I watched so much of his tape. Even the little play against the Eagles when nothing was going right for us, he made this little play against the Eagles that you really have to acknowledge. It was pretty special. So, yeah. Hey, Jeffrey, how you doing? Hope you're good. Hope you're excited. We had a great practice today, great scrimmage. It's always fun to watch it against another team and see how we stack up. So we have to be excited about it. Nakobe Dean slipped because of the injuries. They didn't think he was gonna. They were really worried that it was this serious injury, but then as it turned out, he's playing already. So, I mean, look, there's always going to be guys you don't get in the draft. And what's up, Anthony? It works both ways. We have good corners and help out our pass rush. Cover sacks. Yeah, isn't that like crazy though? Because as good as our defensive line is, the fact that we have, DJ Reed, Gardner, and Bryce Hall, and Michael Carter II, and Guidry, so there's depth there. Eccles even, and like other guys fighting for a spot that looks like, probably better than any other team's 5th and 5th and 6th best cornerbacks, right? Like Isaiah Dunn and Wild Goose look really good. And this guy, Will Parks, I think he's more of a safety. I don't know. But it feels like we have a lot of depth, even when you go to those lower positions, like guys that could actually come into a game and you're not like jumping off a cliff, New York Jets Tales, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member, or should I say a chaos snacker. That means you should join me. Like right now, I'm going to take a bite of food because we're snackers and we're forgiven for doing that. Even when we're on air, when you're a snacker, it's always okay to eat. But I appreciate you joining. Everybody give him the Jets Chaos icon symbol if you're a member. Or throw some pizza at him. I think I'm allowed to add more emoticons. I think I'm going to put some letters in so you guys can have some fun with that, like Ryan does. Flacco on fire in camp. Yeah, look, he's a veteran. He's a veteran guy, and look at the weapons they're giving him. You give a veteran quarterback who's won a Super Bowl, and one of the Ravens ever had, like they were always known for their defense. Flacco was very good, but did they ever have a core like this of like Elijah Moore and Garrett Wilson, two of these, fire guys, and Corey Davis and Breece Hall now and Michael Carr? I mean, now Conklin. I mean, like we're stacked, and now we got an offensive line. So yeah, Flacco, with his experience, I expect it to be very good. So it's exciting. I'm glad you're well. It's good to see. How did I watch what? Don't measure the Jets on a preseason game. But yeah, I don't think we're measuring. Look, I mean, I think it works both ways, right? Like we can't all highlights camp before preseason game 1, then look at the crap against the Eagles. Yeah, look, it doesn't matter. That's why you can't look at one game. It's the same thing. Like Zach throwing great against our cornerbacks to the receivers in our practices, and then Zach having a bad series against the Eagles, and then Flacco having a good. None of it means, you can't say that when bad things happens, it means something, and when good things happen, it doesn't mean anything. The fact is we exaggerate both, right? But the Breece Hall, it's not even the 70-yard run. Look at the run. Like you could, and then with Zach, with a lot of his practices, it's not practice or a real game. Or like it's forget about the results. Look at the throws. Look at the calmness. Look at the decision making. He had a horrible series against the Eagles. I get it. The best quarterbacks in the world have horrible series. I could show you a game, a whole game of Mahomes looking horrible. I could show you a play from Russell Wilson in the Super Bowl, which was horrendous. Like the worst decision possible, and that's a Pro Bowl quarterback. So to see Zach Wilson make a bad play against the Eagles does not mean he's a bust. And also when he makes a great play like against Tennessee last year, it doesn't mean that he's going to be a superstar. He's a question mark. They're all question marks. But we could still be excited. We could still be excited when they do great things. We're fans. That's what being a fan is. When they do good things, we're allowed to dream. We're allowed to dream of the potential. Like, wow, what if this guy does this every day in a game? What if he keeps developing? What if he becomes a superstar? What if all these guys work out? That's the point of being a fan. If we're not allowed to do that, then what's the point? If we're, you know what I mean? It's like, of course, we shouldn't sit there and make it a proclamation. The Jets are going to win a Super Bowl in 3 years. We're the best team. These guys are the best players. They're all amazing. Like, we shouldn't do that. But we also shouldn't sit there and say, oh, Zach Wilson had a tough rookie year. He's bad. Because if you know anything about football, if you've ever watched football in your life, you'd know that you can't judge a quarterback by their rookie year. You can't. There's so many quarterbacks that have had success after having a horrible rookie year. It doesn't make any sense to sit there and say that you don't know. Just like I don't know he's going to be great. You don't know he's a bust. You don't. And if you think you do, that makes you less credible. Because just by saying you know is ridiculous. Nobody knows. And Zach wasn't awful before the injury. That's a lie. He had a bad series against the Eagles. The 3 practices before against our secondary, he was on fire. Ask people who were there. He was throwing bullets into people's chests. He came in overhyped and he had a bad drive. You don't know he wouldn't have settled down. He was starting to look okay in the second drive. He just needed to settle down. It was one drive. How can you base or judge a quarterback on one drive in preseason? It's absolutely crazy. Just like I'm not going to sit here and say we know for a fact Breece Hall is going to be an all-pro running back. I feel like he could be. I'm excited about it. But obviously I can't say that he is. So it's like stop overthinking it. It's preseason. It's preseason. It was one play in preseason. He didn't like you're going to forget that he had completed passes. He wasn't 1 for 5. He wasn't 0 for 5. He had some good passes. He had one where he tried to drop it in. It's better than taking a sack. He listened to what we said. Get rid of the ball. There was nowhere to get rid of it. And he overthrew the guy because he was trying to throw it where a receiver couldn't get it, but left a chance. And he couldn't get the touch on it. And it looks ugly, but it's better than him taking a sack or trying to force the ball into an interception. And then he had a brain fart play. And if he comes out in the regular season and he has those kind of brain fart plays, then you're right. We should be really concerned if he hasn't learned from last year. But a preseason game, one drive, we're going to start judging him. Let's look at the last 6 games he played last year in the regular season. How much better he was. And I'm not saying he was a stud. He's a rookie, and he showed improvement. That's what you're supposed to see. And I'm tired of comparing him to Josh Allen and look at the talking about Peyton Manning his first year. It doesn't matter. It's football. It's the NFL. Rookie quarterbacks used to sit for a year or two before they played because it's the hardest position to learn. The guy is 22, 23 years old. We're going to judge him? Just give him time. If you can't see the talent, you never watched football before. You don't know anything about football. If you can't see the arm talents, if you can't see a guy off balance throwing the ball 40 yards across his body and know that's a spectacular thing, then you've never played football. Try doing it. Run a direction and throw the ball the other direction. Jump up in the air and throw it. See how far you can throw it. The guy, it's amazing. It's an amazing talent. And he could be a bust. Even though he has that amazing talent, he could be a complete bust because he's never going to be able to slow down the game. He's never going to be able to read defenses. That's very possible. Very possible. I've seen incredibly talented quarterbacks do nothing in their career because it doesn't matter how good talented you are sometimes. If you don't have the ability to read the defense, if you're not able to process fast enough, but we are way too soon to be having that conversation about Zach Wilson. Way too soon. It's a ridiculous conversation to have at this point of his career. He is just getting started. I got rid of him. Don't worry. Didn't I get rid of him? I thought that I did. So let's just not panic. If you're a Jets fan, you should be rooting for Zach Wilson to get better. If you're not, if you're saying I want him to fail because I was against him and we should have kept Sam or we should have picked somebody else or Justin Fields, you can't say you're a Jets fan. Like, you could be concerned. You could sit there and say, I don't know if that was the right pick. I think they made a mistake. I don't know if I believe in him. I don't know if he's going to be great. You could say all those things. If you are rooting against Zach Wilson, if you are not hoping when he comes in that he lights it up, then you're not a Jets fan. You're not. How could you be? How could there be such thing as a fan of a team that roots for their players to do bad? There are Jets that I have not liked. I never liked Sam Darnold. I never liked him. Not as a person. He's a great kid. But I hoped every day he'd be great. I was hoping he was the answer. Never was in love with the pick. Was praying he was the answer. And would have been the happiest guy alive and thrilled that I was wrong for doubting him. Thrilled. Happiest guy alive that I was wrong. I mean, that's how I feel about any Jet that I'm not sure about. Now, these young guys, I'm pretty happy and excited about them. But I kind of think like Max Mitchell might be just a guy, a jag, a backup guy. And I disagree with Tigo. I don't see that he's going to be this starting great tackle ever or ever be great. Maybe he'll be like functional. I hope I'm wrong, though. I want to be wrong. I want to be so wrong. I want him to be an all-pro, and I want all of you to never let me forget it. Of course that's what I want because I'm a Jets fan. And at the end of the day, all I want to do is win. That's all I want is to win at all costs. And it doesn't mean I can't, even if I doubt a guy, it doesn't mean he won't be my favorite player for proving me wrong. As a matter of fact, the way emotions work, it makes sense. I doubted this guy, and he won me over, and now I love him more than any player in the world because he won me over. But like, so I'm not saying don't be I'm not saying don't have the opinion that Zach stinks. Like if you think Zach stinks and you think that he's terrible, he looked terrible because he is terrible, that's fine. But please tell me you're rooting for him and hoping you're wrong. Please say, hey, I hope I'm wrong. And I'm not accusing anyone here of anything and saying that you don't. I'm saying is sometimes you have a conversation where someone will come in and constantly bash somebody and never say they hope they're wrong. And it makes you start to question. It makes you start to question, is this really a Jets fan that I'm talking to? Because how could you be a Jets fan if you're not hoping you're wrong? I hope every time I was down on a Jet, like Wesco, right? I don't believe in Wesco. I think he's a waste. I think he needs to go. I don't think there's anything redeeming about him at all. Man, if he proved me wrong. If Wesco went off this year, if he got snaps and did great things, I'm so happy to be wrong. So I'd be thrilled to be wrong because I'm a Jets fan. And we say that over and over again. So, if you don't believe in Zach, feel free to say it. But, understand, you should probably mention, hey, I hope I'm wrong. Because when you're constantly being negative about a player, you start to look a different way. And it's like, we're fans. We're supposed to, hope for the best. That's the way I feel. Like Ty Johnson, I've said cut him a million times. If they keep Ty Johnson and he ends up being amazing, am I going to sit there and always be against him and say, hate him? Stinks that he's good. He should be off the team. That doesn't make sense. I'm going to be cheering and saying, I'm so glad I was wrong. He's helping us win games. Brees said in an interview in college, when he hits the second level, he cannot be stopped, and he does it 100%. And if he does, it's 100% his fault. Love his belief in himself. Yeah, man, it's great when a guy feels that about themselves because great players do. Great players are confident and believe in themselves as long as they're not cocky and think that they don't have to work, right? As long as that's the players you don't like. And I don't want to throw, I'm going to say that's my feeling about Jamal Adams. I think that the reason you've seen him drop down in his performance with the Seahawks is because he got it in his head that he was great and he forgot that to be great you have to work hard. Guys fall in love with themselves, and then they're never the same. I think Odell Beckham was amazing, fell in love with himself, and was bad for a while, and then got humbled, got a second chance with the Rams, refocused on what made him great to begin with, and that's why he was playing well. That's my theory on Odell. And I think it's any player. I can give a million examples of players who should have been entering their prime and should have been great for more years, and they just stopped being great. It never happened. And I think it's because they just got content. They thought, I'm good enough that I no longer have to put in all the work that I used to put in. It's a popular theme. Rocky, right? The whole theme of Rocky, when you look at the first 4 movies, it's the constant theme. The boxer that's hungry, that's working hard, wins. The one that's cocky loses. Right? Remember? Sylvester Stallone worked really hard and pulled off this miracle and beat Apollo. Then he's cocky. He's working out in his rich gym, hitting a punching bag. He's not doing anything painful. So he gets beat by Clubber Lang, who's in the gyms working hard. Right? Then Clubber Lang gets kind of cocky, and he's just thinking one thing, I don't got to improve. I'm just going to kill this guy again. Right? Rocky changes his whole style, works his tails off, starts to believe in himself again. Right? Same thing in Rocky 4. Right? Drago, all cocky now. I killed the Apollo. Hey, hey. Right? And then you show him in the gym just taking drugs and not really working hard, running around an indoor track. Rocky's running in the snow. It's hunger. You got to stay hungry. That's why people have Super Bowl hangovers. Teams expect to just win games after they win the Super Bowl. We're the best. We're just going to win. And that's a trap and that's what being a great coach is not letting that happen. You know what I mean? You got to stay hungry. You got to stay hungry. Otherwise, it goes away. So I'm hoping that Breece Hall is going to be a guy. That's why character is so important and why they're putting so much emphasis on character of these players, because talent doesn't mean anything if they're going to have some success and then stop working hard. But like to be, it just doesn't make sense. This is just wrong. No one's sugarcoating anything. Being a fan is being hopeful. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion and be like that, Jacob. It doesn't sound fun. It doesn't sound like you're having a good time. Like, what's the point? I don't know about you, but this is a game. It's a recreation. It's an escape in my life. I don't want to. My escape in my life is not going to be, that's not good enough. Until they win, it means nothing to me. I'm not going to be excited. Who are you helping? Being excited about something is what makes it worth it. What if they don't win? Then you get no pleasure. At least maybe I get disappointed, but at least I get to have fun rooting for my team. At least I get to have hope and be excited and have fun. And then if they lose, they lose. But you can't take away the fact that I had fun. But if you're going to be just down and miserable, and then they lose and you're miserable, then why watch football? Why not find another team that's going to win for you? Because it's, you know what? As much as I want to win, it's not all about winning. Part of it is the journey. Part of it is the fight to get there. That's part of it. If you can't appreciate that, if you can't be hopeful, what's the point? What's the point? You're going to wait till they win a Super Bowl before you believe they're good? That's so silly. Do you know how much you're missing out on? You can't look at what this team was in 2019 and look at it now and know there's a difference. Like, I mean, really, wake up. Wake up. In 2019, look at the roster. What was there? What was there? And I'm not saying this to be mean to you or start a fight. I'm trying to wake you up. Because if you can't enjoy this, what's the point? You're missing out. It's sad. Look at this. Somebody deleting it. Look at that. Sean McAteer, my defender, getting rid of the porn sites. No one's sugarcoating anything. Zach looked horrible. Fine. It's okay if he looked horrible. You don't think any successful quarterback has looked horrible when they were 22 years old? He threw an interception in a preseason game. Are you kidding me? Do you know anything about football? Do you know how meaningless preseason games are? You don't even know what he was trying to do. You have no reason, no way to know why he did that interception. No, you can't jump into his mind. You have no idea that he ever would have made that pass in a real game. You're assuming he's playing like it's the Super Bowl. And he is competitively, but the plays aren't that way. You think they're going to show any plays and what they're going to do in different situations in preseason for the world to see, for the Ravens to see? I mean, it is what it is. Guess what? He's going to have ugly interceptions in his career, in real games too. He's going to. Dan Marino did. Joe Montana did. Steve Young did. Peyton Manning did. Average quarterbacks did. Joe Flacco was better than average, maybe. Matt Ryan. Name any quarterback that's played in this league, Phil Simms, for any extended amount of time, whether they were good, average, whatever. And tell me that they didn't have a bad throw or bad interceptions or games where they looked horrible. There was a game where Adam Rodgers looked like crap against us. We lost like 9-3 or 9-0 or some crazy game where he looked horrible. And it was Aaron Rodgers, and we were the horrible Jets when this happened. So you're going to tell me you're going to judge him by one series in a preseason game, and you're going to throw out everything that happened last year? He went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady with a backup offensive line and no wide receivers. You're just going to ignore that? Did he throw an interception? No. He kept us in the game. He managed the game and did everything we could ask him to do with no players on a team that was bad anyway. 3 offensive linemen were down. 1, 2, 3, top 3 receivers out. No offensive line, no receivers. Michael Carter out. Anything we had was gone. Playing against Tampa Bay, who had a reason to win that game. And the only reason we lost was a miscommunication, a bad play call. where they sent in a play that was an option to do two different things, and the rookie did the wrong thing. But the option to do that should have never been, and our offensive coordinator took accountability for that, and our head coach took accountability. You take away that one play, or if we could make a defensive play at the end of the game and not let Tom Brady act like he was playing against Little League, we beat the Tampa Bay Bucks. He played good enough to beat the Tampa Bay Bucks with backup players. But you're going to ignore that and say, but he threw an interception in a preseason game. Give me a break. I'm sugarcoating it? No. Maybe you need to rethink what fandom is. Maybe you need to rethink it. I'm not saying you shouldn't doubt Zach Wilson if that's what you want to do. But to sit there and get upset because some of us want to be excited about our team? Are you serious right now? Because you define being a fan as being miserable? Because you want to take your life and then take the best part of it? Something that you love, watching football and being a fan of a team, and ruin that too? Why? Why? And I get mad at it because I'm sick of people trying to drag me down and ruin what I love. Damn straight. When you come here, if you want to watch me, you want to call it sugarcoating? Fine. But I'm going to come here and I'm going to be passionate about my team and I'm going to be excited about my team. Because again, if you can't look at this roster and compare it to what was 2 years ago and see the difference, you know nothing and you will never understand football. And it doesn't mean any of these guys will hit. They can all fail. But when did we have even the conversation? Who did we even have the conversation about 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Le'Veon Bell? That was going to be our future? Who was our future 3 years ago? Where were we? What hope was there for us? So even if these guys don't hit, you can't tell me that the hope is not there. We have a proven Pro Bowl guard. We have AVT who's looking like he could develop into a Pro Bowl guard. We have a better than average center, no matter what you want to say about the guy. We have a tackle who was one of the best last year and probably should have been in the Pro Bowl in George Fant. We have a 37-year-old who's not in his prime, but is pretty damn good, pretty damn experienced, and is fine at left tackle. When have we had an offensive line from top to bottom like the one we're putting on the field right now? In 2019, you're going to say that you're not excited about where we've come since 2019? When we were signing Greg Van Roten? Like he was going to be the answer? We hit on Van. That was a hit. That was a score for JD. You know how much dead money we had? Dead money? Do you know the mess that he had to clean up? We were a mess. No offense, Jets mess. We were a total mess. Our organization was at rock bottom. Now we're talking about an offensive line that has no reason not to be real. Even the NFL, it hates us. Every other team, even the Bills fans and Miami fans. I'm in the forums with them. I collaborate with them sometimes. Even they are saying, Jets have a pretty good offensive line, man. Good job building that offensive line. Like I think Fant's good. You got Laken Tomlinson. That's pretty cool. AVT, that was a great trade in that draft. It's a good offensive line. If you know anything about football, if you want to have a good offense, you have to have a good offensive line. And if we stay healthy, and I know that's an if, but the hope is there. If these guys stay healthy, we have a good offensive line. What does that mean? That means the running backs that we have, are you saying I'm sugarcoating Michael Carter? Really? Do you ever watch football before? Do you ever look at stats? Do you know what they tell you? Do you know that Michael Carter is one of the best running backs in the NFL last year in his rookie season in getting yards after first contact? Do you understand that that's important for a running back? Do you understand that he was a rookie and he's already showing flashes of being a very good running back in the NFL? Do you know that we just drafted somebody that in any other era of football would have been a top 10 pick in the draft? Do you know that he looks spectacular? Do you know that it doesn't matter if it's a real game or preseason or practice? Talent is talent with running back. If the guy is powerful and strong and fast, he's powerful, strong, and fast. But he's showing the moves and the instincts. He showed it in college and he's showing it in practice now. He's looking like the best guy on the field, even though he's a rookie in the NFL in his first practices. He's standing out. Does that guarantee he's going to be a superstar running back? No. But you're not going to sit there and be excited about it? I mean, it doesn't make sense. I'm not asking you to say the Jets are great. I'm not asking you to sit there and say that there's not room for improvement. But you're going to sit there and say that we haven't, in the last 2 years, have reason to be happy and have hope? I'm sorry. That's called Debbie Downer. You're not going to be invited to many parties like that. Because even if I'm wrong and you're right, what's your reward for being right? You still have a shitty football team you get to be angry about. And you didn't even have fun when we had hope, when there was things we didn't know, question marks, potential. I don't understand that kind of fandom. I really don't. You have to explain that to me because I don't understand it. I don't understand the point. And it's like I see you in there saying you can't. Why? Look, if I'm not being clear enough, if this doesn't make sense to you, enjoy being miserable. But don't sit there and come into my chat and then sit and act like we don't have the right to be excited about our team and have fun and hang out on a Friday and be excited about our team. And say, I'm going to be the guy that brings these guys down to earth and I'm going to show them how upset and mad I am that they're being sugarcoating and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it makes no sense. What, everybody needs to be miserable like you? I don't know. I'm sorry. We're not. We're excited about our team. We're looking at the positive. I'm sorry that we won't join you in your misery. Whatever it is that's so screwed up in your life that won't even allow you to be excited about something or have hope. I'm so sorry that we're not going to join you in that and be miserable with you. Ha, I'm happy. I'm flying 3,000 miles across this country because I'm excited about this team. And guess what? They can lose by 30 points, but I'm going to be hanging out with my friends. Mark Reese, Nick Shine, Green Bean, Ryan, Matt O'Leary, Buffalo. You think I care? You could sit there in misery. I don't care. But if you're going to come in here, don't sit there and take an attitude in the chat with us because we're excited about our team. I mean, it's unbelievable. You're sitting there trying to make arguments that a quarterback who's played in started 13 games that and you've decided whether or not he could become a great quarterback or not. Even though we could go through a list, I'm not going to waste my time doing it. We can go through a list of how many quarterbacks got off to a lousy start in their career and ended up being Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Terry Bradshaw stunk for 4 years. Look it up. 4 years he stunk. All right? How many examples do you need? Unbelievable. Chaos. I had a great debate with Homie. We finally agreed that Brees's ceiling is Tony Dorsett, who purposely chased players from the 70s to the 80s. Your thoughts? I think that's interesting, A-Lab, because I actually wrote an article about Brees Hall, and I was using examples of why we shouldn't go crazy if he doesn't have a crazy year. Like, we shouldn't judge his potential by rookie year. And I was doing it by showing that players that in the NFL, like great running backs of the past, don't have their best numbers or their best seasons year one. So I actually did an article like that. And I forget, Tony Dorsett was one of the ones I looked at, and I forget if he's one of the ones that actually started his career really well, or if he started okay and just got better and better. But anyway, look, it's hard to give a ceiling, right? Because because he's him, right? And they all have different skill sets. So my ceiling for him is that he's a franchise-changing running back. That's my ceiling. Am I saying he's guaranteed to be that? No. Right? His floor is that he's just an average running back. And he's never able to put these talents to good use and be special. But my ceiling is just you could pick any guy. Tony Dorsett, Emmitt Smith. I mean, if you like the Dallas running backs from their history, Walter Payton. I mean, like any great running back that changes a franchise because they become this weapon you have to prepare for. Anybody who says he doesn't have that ceiling doesn't, I mean, again, how do you know anything? How could you say he doesn't have that ceiling, right? I mean, he would have been a top 5, top 10 running back selected in any other era. He was the number 1 running back, and other teams didn't laugh at us. All the NFL teams, if you look at their boards, plenty of them had him. Not everyone, but I would guarantee you more than half the NFL teams in this league, in their running back board, had him ranked as the best running back coming out of college. So there's absolutely no reason to sit there and say his ceiling isn't to be one of those kind of players. Now, is he going to hit his ceiling? I don't know. I can't tell you. Can't tell you if he's going to hit his ceiling, but I'm not going to sit there miserable and go, I haven't 7 games, and the Jets stink, and they always stink, and why would you think he's going to be good? Like, that's not me. Sorry. We just did what any other team would do that wanted to draft a running back. We took a running back, and we took the number 1 running back that every other team, if they picked a running back, would have picked. So no one can tell me the potential of the ceiling is not that he's great. And if you're a Jets fan, you hope that he's great. I think we have anti-Jet fans. I think they were Jet fans, and they're so damaged they don't even realize they're not real fans anymore. Because I almost think, again, that they don't want to be right. They just want to come in and they want to just be nasty and mean and take out all the pain that being a Jet fan has caused them, and not look and realize that we have a different GM the last few years, and the owners finally let go of the reins, and that we're not the same organization that we were. So, what's up, Michael Lando? Good to see you, brother. So, but people want to be miserable. Let them be miserable. Time for a snack. I know the food's getting so cold. I always think, I'm just going to eat it. And, Anthony, but then I feel weird about it. Anyway, I got to kind of skip ahead. See something coming in. I don't want to miss it. I see so many new people that joined. Thanks, guys, for being here. Appreciate everyone who's here supporting the channel. Jim Pock, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. Snowball, it's good to see you. Mark Reese, loved you on Jets One Drive, buddy. You're a natural star. You should be on TV all the time. Buffalo Jets fan, what's going on, brother? Good to see you, too. Need to jump ahead right now. What's this? Thank you for the super chat, Michael Lando. Everyone block him. He'll be talking to himself. Oh, okay. Yeah. Look, I don't care. I mean, as long as it's not disrespectful, he's not insulting anybody. Like, I try not to block people. I try to let people talk the way I want to talk. I'm trying to have a conversation. And yeah, I get passionate about it because it gets to me. It makes me mad. But like when someone's sitting there being so negative, and I don't even care. Like it's America. You have the right to be negative and everything, and you have the right to say I'm negative. But to sit there and question us and insult us and say you're sugarcoating, you're trying to bring us down. You're mad that we're happy and excited and hopeful. And that bothers me. There's no excuse for that. To bring people down. I just don't understand why you would do that. But Michael, I really, really appreciate the super chat. Now I'm coughing because I'm talking so loud. So I love the reaction. I love the support, guys. Thank you. Again, I appreciate it. Might have someone here. I'm waiting for him to join. But anyway, I see another super chat. AbLab Studios, one of the most generous people in our community. Because of AbLab Studios, there's going to be another Jets fan that gets to, most likely is in line now to be able to come see their first game, a home opener, because AbLab made an insanely generous donation to the fund that Green Bean has in place. For those of you who don't know, go to Green Bean's site, look at his description. There's a GoFundMe that gets Jets fans from around the country to MetLife for Jet games. If it happens before the opener, we get them to the opener. If it doesn't happen before the opener, we'll keep the fund going. I constantly donate a percent when I actually get paid money for this super chats, because it takes time. It's got a process. I'm going to make another donation. I've been donating. We got Iowa to the game, Iowa and Jets fan. We're working to get, I believe at the moment, we're working to get Chris Bradigan to the game from the Chicago area. So it's a great cause. And AbLab, thank you for the super chat, but more gratitude for what you did for our community. It was very generous of you. We really appreciate it. And I appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you so much. I think there was another one. I don't want to miss it. Here we go. J.E. Allen, thank you so much. Incredibly, incredibly generous. Jets will be great, upgraded in every position. And we got Debo, Michael Clemens, definitely optimistic. Yeah, that's exactly right. And if you know what the great thing about winning 7 to 8 games is, if that's all we win, it means we'll have went from 2 wins to 4 wins to 7 to 8 wins. And if you look at a chart, like, I used to follow the stock market, and you follow any kind of growth as an assistant principal at a school. If I'm watching our grades do this and doubling year to year, it's considered pretty hot company, pretty hot stock, pretty good. So, there's always the Cinderella story where we can go from 4 wins to 10, 11, make the playoffs. Cincinnati Bengals, obviously, we just saw it happen. The Jets themselves, right? The Parcells year from 97 to 98. Miami Dolphins, I think, were 1-15 and then beat out New England for the division. So it happens. It's not something I'd count on. I don't use those as examples and say, because they did it, then we're definitely going to do it. But it happens. And if you're a fan of a team, there's absolutely nothing wrong with hoping that it happens. Another person became a member. I don't know if that, okay. So I want to make sure I don't miss that. But J.E. Allen, I really appreciate the super chat. That's, again, incredibly and just like very humbling for me to have people like just throw money at you like that. And believe me, and this is real. I want you guys to know this. I have a job, I have a career, but I also, me and my wife have our bills and everything. And like our agreement is to do this chat for me to do this channel is I can't spend any more money of my money from our bank account, normal account and normal funding for this, because obvious reasons. We have things we want to accomplish and do. We want to save for retirement. All those things are normal things that pressures we all feel in life. But the agreement is that any money I collect on this channel is money that I could put into this channel. So I want you to know that's very real. Like, I want to upgrade the StreamYard account that I have. I already have my wife agreeing because, like to let me do like things to make better thumbnails. There's a technology you can pay for. There's a whole bunch more things that I want to do. I want a better mic. I want a real camera. So my live shows, I could have like a camera that can, that I could see my computer like this, but the camera angle is coming at me better way. Like Brian, if you watch Jets Talk 24/7, he has like a real studio. Green Bean's building a real studio. This room I have is not the best, but I certainly with money can make this into a much better studio. So I really appreciate it, guys. Whatever my channel becomes in the future, any improvements I make in the tech, it's because of you guys doing this, because this is the money this is what I'm using the money for. So thank you so much for those of you that are able to do that. Mark Reese, you've become a snacker. I appreciate that. I think every time someone becomes a snacker, I have to take a snack, right? I mean, we at least have to do that. So, this is really good. If any of you ever gone to Amazon Fresh or in the supermarket You're someone who has to buy frozen lunches because you go to work and sometimes you just want to heat something up. Devour chicken cordon bleu macaroni and cheese. I promise you're going to love it. Past has nothing to do with our future. I've been screaming that for so long. When you get a new GM, and you get a new coach, and our ownership really changed the way they approached the management of this team. So you have owners who basically gave the team to Joe Douglas. It's no longer the team that we were in 2015 or 2012 or 2013, 2014. Those men that built that team, that put us in the situation that we've been in, those men are gone. They don't exist anymore. We just have a guy who, as an assistant GM, I think that was his role for the Eagles, helped build a Super Bowl team. He was part of an organization that won a Super Bowl, which we liked. Obviously, they liked him in an interview, and he got recommended by the one good thing Adam Gase did by getting him in here. It's now his team. Saleh is now our coach. Everything is new. We have to get the past behind us, but I don't want to get rid of all the past behind us because there's a man named Joe Klecko that's going to go into the Hall of Fame, baby. And I'll never stop loving and appreciating what that team. And guess what? We didn't even have to win a Super Bowl. As much as it broke my heart at the time, no one could take the memories of having the sack exchange. I got to become a fan right at the time that the sack exchange existed. I mean, it was the most unbelievable thing. It was like such a great part of my young life. As an 11, 12, 13-year-old, it was such a special thing to have that team. And they might not have won a Super Bowl, but I'll never regret it. I will never regret becoming a Jets fan because nothing will replace that joy that I felt and that fun that I had rooting for that team, even with the heartbreak. I'll take it. So, but that past has nothing to do with this team. It just doesn't. So we have absolutely no reason to sit there with a dark cloud over our head. We have to look at what we were since Joe Douglas has taken full reins. And since he's taken full reins, we've drafted a quarterback who has amazing talent, who might one day be special, or he might not. We prioritized the offensive line and traded up and got someone who looks like he could be a Pro Bowl guard someday. Right? We took a bunch of young guys in the middle. We took a running back in the 4th round that's looking like a real deal running back in the NFL, someone who could really help the team. We took a bunch of defensive guys, and some of them are panning out. Bryce Hall, very good player. Doesn't have to be a superstar. 5th round guys, good player. So, and then he made amazing trades. Jamal Adams took a guy who didn't want to be here, wasn't going to make us a winning team magically anyway, was just going to cost us money, and he turned it into a future. Right? And he did a million things. I can go on forever about all the different things that he did. But that's who we are now. This is who we are. And we don't know where it's going to go. We're not 100% sure. But we are in a place where we went from a team that was on the bottom with no hope, doing nothing. Any knowledgeable football fan knew from 2017 to 2020, we weren't doing it right. We weren't. There was nothing. We weren't doing anything right. And now we are. But it's never a guarantee. But at least we're doing it right. It's like I say it to students all the time. I can't guarantee you're going to pass the test. I can't guarantee you that you're going to be the smartest kid in the class. But I can guarantee you that if you study and you work hard and you give your best, that you have the best possible chance to put yourself in that position. And that your parents and that all of us educators are going to be really excited for you if you do that and hopeful. It's the same kind of thing. We're doing the right things. And we have every right to be excited about that. So I'm going to bring somebody on, but first I want to get to the super chats. Michael Lando, thank you so much. I'm the best man. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And remember, you're the best too, because I'm you guys. Okay, that's never going to change. I'm you guys. I met everybody in the chats. I'm just a fan of Green Bean. I'm a fan of Matt O'Leary and Ryan. Now I'm a fan of Buffalo, just like you guys. I come into the chat to hang out with you guys. You guys are my online friends. You make life better for me. And I love doing this. I'm happy to do this, but I'll never not be one of you guys. So remember that. And when this channel builds up, it'll be because of you guys. Because it's us doing it together. It's your channel too. That's why those of you, if you want to reach out to me, if you ever want to be on, I'm going to always try to accommodate that. For those of you who want to be on and do this and try this, I'm always going to support it because I'm just one of you guys. And it's always going to be that way. We're just friends and we're hanging out, and I'm happy to create this space for you. Oh yeah, I got that in the freezer right now. New York Jets Tales. And the only reason I have this food is because we ordered Amazon Fresh. My wife ordered all healthy food, and they sent like an extra bag of food that's not ours. And I'm not going to say I'm disappointed because that bag had the best stuff in it. It's like one of you snuck in and sent it for me. My brother's making garlic bread. All right. Alla Bruno means with mozzarella cheese. Thomas Cahill. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. I'll take it. And man, you've been a supporter for a long time. I appreciate you, Thomas. I think you're going to the opener, right? I keep mixing it up who's going and who's not going. But, man, I'm so excited to meet some of you guys. You guys are the best. Can't wait to hang out with you guys in real life. By the way, Dark Soldier's here. He's a member, so thank you, Dark Soldier. Anybody I forgot to say hello to? I think old Dave Echeverry is here. So what's up, buddy? I appreciate you for being here. Harry W. here. I can't wait to hang out with Harry W. He's a good friend. New York Jets Tales a member too. You guys, man, you guys are the best. Love you guys. Love you guys. And Sean Bennett, it's a real honor to have you guys in here with me because I see you guys like watching Frankie and Green Bean and everything. So like the fact that the same people that are appreciating them and watching them are willing to watch me is like pretty humbling, I gotta say. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, buddy. Okay, it's time for me to get to my introduction. This guy's been waiting a long time. And I'm getting very cheesy at this point. So let me let's give him a great intro, even though I'm gonna cough my brains out when I do it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a negative gesture. This is not a sugarcoating gesture. This is a real gesture. This is a guy who loves the Jets so much he analyzes every single player that could be a Jet. So if they become a Jet, he knows everything about them. Because he needs to know everything about the Jets. How does that benefit us? Because if you have a question about any player, he won't just tell you if they're good or bad. He'll tell you why they're good or why they're bad or how they can be good or what they need to work on. He is the father-bearing, traveling, Green Bean friend of, article writing, hat wearing, beard wearing, one of the greatest Jets analysts and one of my best partners in the world, Tom C.
Jeremy, never fail to satisfy that intro, I tell you. And your wife must hate whenever you introduce somebody.
I think she finds it amusing. Because I think she finds it amusing. She's down there, and then all of a sudden she just hears she hears the chaos. Let's just say that.
Oh man.
She hears the pandemonium.
I think your neighbors hear the chaos. I think half of San Jose hears the chaos in Sacramento. Chat, what's up, man? How's that?
Say hello to Arkansas. What's up? What's up, kiddo? Okay. How you doing?
I'm well, man. How are you?
I'm good. I just went on one of my rants. My best work.
I watched it while I was I've been traveling, like and we literally just got back today. And as I'm unpacking everything, that's why I said I'll catch you about the 10 o'clock hour, because I was unpacking the van and this, that, and the other thing. And man, did I hear that? I was I was loving it. I was loving it. So
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's like I wish people would push my buttons more often, because that this is what I always dreamed of the channel of being. Like, at least when I'm alone on my own, was obviously I'm the biggest Green Bean fan in the world, but like what I love about Green Bean was just the way he was able to look and connect to everybody and just talk and be himself.
Yeah.
And there are moments where I feel like, wow, I just let the real Jeremy come out.
Yeah, well, and listen, there's and I'm going to pay you a pound of compliments right here, because there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of similarities between you and Green Bean. Green Bean, he has an aura about him. He's definitely a vocalist, meaning he can keep your attention, and he attracts you. He's got that aura about him when he speaks. He's a great storyteller, and he's just got that thing about him. And we all, whoever was in that listening to you, pretty much get vulnerable and spill your honest feelings about how you feel about that stuff. Like, that's exactly what I got. I couldn't not listen, and it wasn't like in a bad way. It's not like you're watching a dumpster fire. It's just something that was just very there's attractiveness in vulnerability. You know what I mean? And some people display it in different ways. So kudos to you, man. And listen to the the kid who was, or I don't know if it was a kid, the gentleman or lady, whoever it was, who was at the opposite end of that rant.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he come back. Listen, there's some like it or not, Jets fans, there's some validity to some of the things that he was saying. Just the way that he was saying it was going around. Like, oh no, hang on one second.
What?
Sorry, I thought my computer was going through an update. I was just trying to make sure it wasn't. There's some truth in the fact that we don't know if Zach's the guy.
Right.
That we don't know that yet. Two of my best friends, one of them is a diehard Jet fan. One of them is not a Jet fan. Both of them are big, staunch supporters of the fact that Zach's not the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And until he's given that chance, or he shows that he is, there's not much argument there,
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side of that argument, and where I kind of line up, where I think I line up with you, Jeremy, is that I have all the optimism in the world, even in the Adam Gase days, in the really, really lows of the lows, the recent lows. I had all the optimism. I felt good going into every single game. I go into every single game really, really feeling like there's a chance. You know what I mean? And I go into every season feeling like there's a chance. And when we draft a guy, I have that feeling that there's a chance. And I think that's just really where the true fandom comes from. That in me at least. And I'm only speaking for myself.
Yeah.
But on the same token, you sometimes you got to call a spade. And when something's not good, it's not good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like, and that's why, and I've said it a million times. Look, my faith and optimism in Zach Wilson has been tested.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say there weren't moments. I mean, it happened right with Green Bean where he'd have talked me down. There was a moment last year when we were watching a game, and I said, I don't know, man. I don't know if any guy I could see being a good quarterback could be like this. And Green Bean had to say, whoa, Jeremy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, he's a rookie. He's confused. He's lost right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he's always going to be lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I was the same. I have the same feelings. I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm not comparing the two players, but the same way I feel about Zach and how I'm confident in his abilities and his, I really think, things will come together for him and he takes that next step, Maybe I'm a bad judge of character because I had those same feelings for Sam. I really thought Sam Darnold was the guy. When we took him and all that, after week 1 and all that, I really thought that we finally had our franchise quarterback.
Mhm.
And I really thought we had our franchise quarterback in Mark Sanchez. So time's going to tell, you know. But until it's proven differently, you know, I'm on the Zach bandwagon.
Yeah, it was interesting because I had my doubt when I had my doubts about Darnold. I told my wife and I was explaining it to her. We were on a walk, and not that I'm an expert, but I was trying to explain it at the best I could about. Yes, we know he could, like, because she doesn't understand. She's like, well, you could see that he was good in college. You see him throwing passes. You see him being successful.
Mhm.
Why don't you know he's going to be good? And I was trying to explain it's a different level. And in college, you can get away with looking at one receiver. And I said, until they get there in the NFL, you don't know if they're going to be able to be somebody that could look and see the whole field and understand what's happening and then be able to find the receiver. And I'm trying to explain it as best I can. And I said, I have my doubts. I don't know that Darnold could do it. And then one day we're watching the game. It's like like late in the second season or whatever. I think it was actually early in the third season. I'm sitting there and I was super depressed. And I go, darn it. I'm like, he's not the guy. I know now he's not the guy. Like, it started to really sink in. I think it was when Flacco came in and did much better. And like, man, Darnold's not. She goes, I thought you didn't want him to be good. I thought you didn't like him and you had your doubts about him. And I looked, and this is what we're talking about right now. And I looked at her and I said, honey, just because I'm a Jets fan, just because I have my doubts about him, just because I didn't think wasn't very optimistic about him, doesn't mean I didn't want him to become the greatest quarterback in the NFL.
And you hit that right on the head. I think that is the big telling factor and the real true litmus test for a fan, right? Is it's rare. Like, for example, recency bias. We're talking about, oh my God. I just completely had a brain fart. Who did we just sign? Who was our tackle? And I just spent hours and hours breaking
Dwayne
down.
Brown?
Yeah, Dwayne Brown. Thank you. Good Lord. I'm the first to admit it. And you guys, if you read what I wrote, probably see what I thought about Dwayne Brown is that, when watching him on film, the excitement of the name Dwayne Brown probably was a little higher than what I saw on film. Now, that's my opinion. That's me looking at something, really studying it, and that's the conclusion I came to. Now he's a Jet, and I'm going to root like hell for him that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? That's the difference between a fan. There's rarely, outside of maybe Greg Van Roten, there's no Jet that we ever had that I still didn't root for because they're on the team that I want. I want them to succeed. I want to be 100% wrong about what I saw, about what my conclusion on the little film that I studied on Dwayne Brown was. I want to be 100% wrong. I want to be 100% wrong when I have those moments when I wonder if Zach's the guy. I want to be wrong. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
That's the fan in me.
Yeah, it's okay to worry as a fan and be disappointed and think, "Oh no, here we go again." And like we've all been through so much with this team. It's natural and normal that's going to happen. But like at the end of it, it's always really clear that we love them and want them to be great.
You get once they put on the uniform, they got my utmost support.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, even
outside of Greg Van Roten, and I think that's like that's a lot of the fan base. He's probably the one Jet I can think of in recent times where no one really liked the guy.
Yeah.
There's not. I haven't found one person that said, "Oh wow, I'm glad we got Greg Van Roten."
Yeah. I mean, I think the worst for him when he hit rock bottom was, and I know they took him out of context and they didn't put his whole quote, but still, his worst mistake was when you were playing, when the way he was playing, when they should have said, what does Zach Wilson have to do to be better? What he should have said was, it's not about Zach Wilson. We need to play better. I need to play better. That's what he should have said.
Yeah.
Even though it's true he needs to get rid of the ball sooner. When you're playing like Van Roten was playing, he should have said, it's not about Zach Wilson. I need to play better. Yeah. Because no quarterback is going to be successful with the way we're protecting them.
Absolutely. I think you always kind of it's even if he didn't mean to, when you get in front of a camera or the media or something like that, and it looks like you're taking a dig at your quarterback or anybody on your team, that's just a bad look. You know what I mean? Deflect it inwardly. You know,
Yeah.
Michael Clemens, for instance, when they talked to him the other day and they said, "Hey, you know, you had 7 pressures and a sack the other day. You know, were you happy?" He said, "No." He's like, "It's a testament to my team. You know, I want to get better each and every day, and it's a testament to my team and my coaches that, you know, I was able to be put in that position." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He praises everyone else and kind of deflects it away from himself, as opposed to pointing, you know, one way or another. I just think that's like team chemistry 101.
Yeah. You see how loved you are in the chat, by the way? You see all
Yeah,
these-
I'm feeling good, dude.
You see what these guys are saying about you?
Feeling good, dude. Feeling good, man. It's nice to listen. I was kind of off the grid for a little while. Like I said, we had a long, 10-day vacation. I took my family up to the Finger Lakes, and then we went up to Darien Lake, up right next to Buffalo, and then into Canada and spent some time at Niagara Falls. It was wonderful, and on top of like cell phone and internet, you know, being shoddy at best, you know, it's kind of good to just unplug and just kind of live in the moment with the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, getting back to all this, just, you know, in the past couple hours, I'm catching up on everything, you know, making sure everything's lined up for Monday. You know, my son, my little guy, of all things, you know, my oldest is kind of taking, following steps in dad, and you know, he's all about the Jets. My daughter loves the Jets. My little guy, not so much. You know, and I told him his name's PJ. I said, PJ, you can like whatever team you want, as long as it's not the Bills, the Dolphins, or the Patriots. I don't care who you root for. You know, my dad was a Raiders fan. My dad grew up an Oakland Raiders fan, and he never pushed his stuff on me. He said, develop your own fit. He's like, find the team that you want and find the team that you love, and develop that, develop that fandom for it. So of all things, why, I don't know. My little guy's become an Atlanta Falcons fan. So guess what? He's going to be donning Atlanta Falcons jerseys on Monday at the game. So
Wow.
It is what it is, man. He'll learn.
So this was I like this. I like what old Dave is saying here, and I'm going to get to meet up with him. He's in Modesto, and I'm actually going to probably have to go to a meeting in Modesto, because my school, Aspire Public Schools, we have schools in Modesto. So I'm going to probably reach out to Dave when I have to go there for meetings, and before I head back, maybe we can get a beer. The loyalty in my life has caused heartache, but the rewards are far greater. Yeah, I mean, this is how I feel. I die for who I accept and can't live any other way. My Jet loyalty goes beyond wins and losses, but victory will be ultimate. The ultimate. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That should be on like your tombstone, dude.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It looks great. Oh, Thomas Cahill, another super chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm happy he's not Daniel Jones. I honestly thought Daniel Jones was going to be better. I'm not saying, I don't think the door is completely closed on him being an okay quarterback, but I think it's pretty much like it's like in the middle of snapping shut. Like, in other words, someone's at the last second is going to have to stick their foot in that door.
So Daniel Jones, I think he was. I remember when he came out. You know, he was there with Dwayne Haskins in that draft class, and Daniel Jones had all the talent in the world, but similar. I mean, not comparing the players, similar to Sam, right? The Giants just failed to develop him. I can see Daniel Jones turning into a very good quarterback. It's not going to be with the Giants. He's one of those guys that's going to have to take his 3-4 years, take his licks, move on to another team. And now he knows how to play the game, because I mean he's a talented guy.
Yeah.
And he throws a deep ball as good as anybody in this league. You know, he's just got to put it together. But I mean, they bounced around coaches and systems and offensive coordinators, kind of like we change underwear over there. So
Yeah, now he's had it rough. I do think that he needs to. I don't know if this is something that could be taught, but I feel like he doesn't sense defenders coming from behind him. Like it's like those fumbles aren't by accident. It's like he literally. It's as if he doesn't even know they're there because he doesn't even protect the ball. He sits there with it just there, and guys will come from behind him and just easily knock it down. And like he's got to somehow work on feeling the pressure. You know what I mean, and knowing that they're coming.
Well, Daniel Jones has went through exactly for 3 years, exactly what Zach dealt with last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, makeshift offensive line. I mean,
Yeah.
a terrible offense. No real weapons, by name, they're nice, but Sterling Shepard can't stay healthy. Kenny Golladay, they brought in last year, and he got hurt, and he's just been awful. Right? You don't know what they got in the other guy, the first round pick that they took. Excuse me. So yeah, it's I think he has the chance to be good. I just don't think. I think the swan song is going to be this year with the Giants. But to your point, Cahill, let's be happy. Yeah, let's hope Zach is not in Daniel Jones shoes in 2 years.
Well, I think we're getting what Daniel Jones. That's just from what you were just saying. I think that Zach is getting a different thing. We're actually giving him every opportunity by putting a real team around him.
Yeah.
A pretty damn good system that's been very effective in other places in the NFL. So
sure.
Jeremy and Don, do you remember that commercial with James Harrison where he had to tackle the guy to get paid, but could be Michael Clemens? He scares me. A lot of people are saying, my first comparison was Mean Joe Green. Because I go back to those times. Like I could see Michael Clemens drinking the Coke. He's serious. I could see them doing a remake of the commercial Coke with Michael Clemens. He drinks the Coke, scary looking dude or whatever. Kid walks away sad because there was no emotion from the player, so he doesn't think he's into kids. And then hey kid, catch, and then he throws the towel. Like it was such a classic commercial, and that's why But Harrison's a great comparison too. He's a guy who actually got cut initially, and then on to another team and cut again, and then back to the Steelers. And it was only because of an injury that he even got a chance to play.
Well, the funny thing with Michael Clemens is besides the fact that it looks like he's chiseled out of granite. If you look at that guy, he is like Adonis, that guy.
Oh, he can
be intimidating. He is just one big moving muscle. But
yeah, he could have been in Game of Thrones.
He's got so much untapped potential. I know the negatives about him. Yes, he's 25 years old. There's going to be 25 this season. He's a little bit older. Had some run-ins and took probably a little bit longer to mature. But there's so much untapped potential, and I'd love to see it all come to fruition over the next, over the length of this contract and see if, the juice is really worth the squeeze of what we saw him do, week 1 against 2s and 3s in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Dark Soldier, I agree. That's another good thing about Zach is he takes accountability, even when he doesn't have to. But that's just the kind of guy he is. He's going to stand. He's a stand-up guy. He's going to be stand-up for his guys.
That's leadership.
Yep.
Right.
He stand up for his coach and his coordinator. He could have let them take the fall for that play call in Tampa, and he did. He came and said, "It's my fault." He goes, "I need to learn." He goes, I should have, I made a mistake. I should have given the ball to Barrios." So so. And everybody, that's what I love about the culture of our team is everybody try to take the blame for it. LaFleur was saying it's my fault. Saleh was saying it's my fault. Zach Wilson was saying it was my fault. They're all sitting there fighting. I'm sure Middleton was like, "Give me the microphone so I could say it was my fault."
Yeah, but what's the similarities between that? You said, just like you said, Saleh, LaFleur, Zach Wilson, all saying they're their fault. All 3 rookies. Right? All 3 new to this situation, and all 3 clearly, willing to fall on the sword. That's leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah. And leadership is I think it's indispensable. But it can't be the only intangible that one has, especially for Saleh. We need to see improvements in some of his game management and the way that He carries himself on the field, so on and so forth. There's no doubt that, he's a leader. Leaders don't always make great coaches.
Yep.
So now we need to see him coach as well.
Yep. Yep. So Harry says, I was thinking we should have a watch party Monday for the Jets-Falcons game. So here's how it works. If Green Bean's going on and doing a watch party on Jets Nation, I will be with him, and I encourage everybody to join us. If Green Bean is not going on and doing a watch party, I will be joining, not for the whole game, but I'll be in and out, and I'll be watching and spending time at Buffalo, with Buffalo Jet fan, with Kevin, because he's going to be doing the game. So that's my two options. If Green Bean says we're on, we're going to be on together. If Green Bean says, nope, taking the night off, I'm not covering that game, then I'll be with Buffalo. I'm sure if you want to, you can jump into. He's pretty much open invitation.
I'll be at the game.
Oh, you're going to be at the game?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Good for you, man.
Yeah. Looking forward to it, man.
I love it. I like that. Dave saying, let's eat. Forget the beer. Let's eat. Call my wife, say, I'm not coming back right away. I'll be back much later because I'm going to have dinner with old Dave Etcheberry. He's going to take pictures and we're going to be able to post them up and say, oh, it's that's going to be the new thing. For the super member, that's what I should put in. For the super member gets to go out and eat with me. We get to eventually we get together and we go and eat. That's
$99 a month gets you the pizza tour around Sacramento.
That's right. That's right. Or if you happen to be in New York when I'm in New York, I'll take you to all my favorite spots in Brooklyn. The problem is you don't need to be a member, because if I bumped into any of these guys in New York, I would do it anyway. So
yep.
They don't have to pay me money.
So I forgot to ask you, Jeremy, is your wife coming out with you for the game?
No. She's actually doing a separate trip to New York a few weeks later. That's a family thing for her. But she's doing a much longer, she's doing a full week. You see, what happened was when we left New York, we kept the apartment that we were living in because it was rent control. And my whole family chipped in to keep it so we'd have an apartment to stay in New York. And then my niece graduated and got a job in the city and ended up, for the past 4 or 5 years, been living in that apartment. She's moving out now. And my older brother, who's retired, is thinking, this is a dream come true. I'm going to spend 3 or 4 months living in New York, in the spring and the fall, and I'll pay for the apartment. And so my wife's going to take advantage of that because she has some family things to take care of, and she's going to stay in the apartment.
Very nice.
I'm just coming in for 4 days. I'm coming in on the red eye Friday morning. I leave on Monday. I'm not even going into Manhattan. I'm going to spend some time with Nick in Jersey, maybe meet Mark Reese that day. It doesn't matter because we'll meet in Coney Island the next day. But I'm staying with my friends in Tottenville and Staten Island. And, and then I'm going to go Coney Island day, Saturday, and then the game on Sunday. And then Monday from Staten Island, I'm going to go back to the airport and go home. So I'm not staying in the apartment or anything. So it wouldn't make sense for her.
Gotcha. Understood.
Yeah. But one day, maybe the next time, maybe there's going to be a time where we can come in next year for the opener where we'll both do a whole week. It's just hard for me for work because I'm really not supposed to take time off when school's on.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. My wife works, although she's not an educator, she's a school nurse. So same deal for her. Taking off during the year is really frowned upon, considering she has 3 months off. But so it's tough. I get it.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know we were the same age. Cool. Michael Lando. I love the Lando. It makes me think of Lando Calrissian.
So what are you looking forward to on Monday? Who are the players? What are the position battles? What do you want to what's you're going to be your real focus of this game against Atlanta? Jeremy?
Well, I mean, the number one focus is gone because it was always Zach Wilson. It's always about him and wanting to see that evidence, wanting to see that development. Because as much as me and my brother just actually recorded, we didn't put it out yet. I'll put it out as a video. And for the podcast for Stadium Rent, I was just saying that above all else, that's everything to me. That's the number one thing is always going to be quarterback. And it's always going to be about him being the right quarterback. But, I would like to see JJ do what he did in practice today against the ones. I'd love to see him start with it. I want to see the defensive line get more time, more drives, like,
Okay.
maybe like play a little bit more and get some sacks and get some penetration and cause some, like, I don't want to see one of these. I don't want the other team to just simply dump off short passes in space. I want us to see like let's try pressing a little bit. Let's get the coverage going. Let's get these defensive linemen in there. Let's see if we can cause some pressure, knock Mariota, punch him in the face. Let's do some stuff. I'm looking at the defensive line. I'm looking to either not hear Sauce's name at all or an interception. And then I would like to see Breece Hall. I'm really excited to watch Breece Hall. I know what Flacco could do, right? Flacco's no surprise. He's 37. I've watched him for the past 15 years. I know the guy inside out. I know who he is. So, I'm happy he's there and we have him to get us through this. But, like, there's no, like, oh, I can't wait to see Joe Flacco. Like, I know what we have there. But Breece Hall, it's impossible not to be crazy excited about watching Breece Hall. Like, I just want to see him break one in a situation like that, and in a real game kind of situation in this preseason game. Like, how awesome would it be if he broke one for 40 or 50 yards?
Yeah, well, I didn't see it yet because, like I said, I've been traveling. I mean, we drove straight through from Niagara Falls straight home into Jersey today, so I was on the road for a good 7 hours. But I heard that he busted one today in the joint practice for about 70 yards.
Yeah, he did. That was amazing. I saw a piece of it on Twitter. It was amazing. I mean, it was everything we've been talking about that makes him special. Like the cut, the acceleration, the third gear. I love the third gear where it looks like he's going to create an earthquake because his feet are just pounding the ground and slapping the ground as he's running. I love it, man. It reminds me of Marshall Faulk.
Well, he has, in going back to when he was in college, again, it's really, I mean, the film on him was wonderful because there was so much of it. I mean, when we talk about a true bell cow running back, I mean, that's what Breece Hall was at Iowa State. I mean, he was their offense for more or less.
Yeah.
But what I remember about him so much is that, when we started to really dive into some of these prospects, especially the running back prospects, like he is just the quintessential fit for an outside zone scheme. You know what I mean? Because he's got that one cut and go ability, like you said. He can hit a hole, and then he can turn on that third gear. Forget about the second gear. He hits that second gear at the hole, and he can just run by people, and he does it with both such grace and power. And like Michael Carter, also the running back, the similarities that I love about those two guys is that they don't go down with first contact. They have this, this term that you hear a lot about. It's called contact balance, right? Where they can take a hit and not get kind of stopped in their tracks, thrown about. They can take a hit, they can run through tackles, and everything still keeps moving in the way in the direction they can. That's because they have complete, like, elite control over their center of gravity. It comes with flexibility, flexibility in their ankles, and just the sure strength that they have from the hips down, both of those guys. And those guys, what they can do after the first hit is just amazing. Now, they're different running backs because they're built differently, but they have so many similarities. I think it's just it's going to be such a great fit. Hopefully the offensive line, all the changes and the adjustments from left to right and the new guys in and so on and so forth, hopefully that gels quick enough that we can really see these two running backs really just take charge of the offense, and I like what you said before about Flacco. Like, we all know Flacco's a grizzled veteran in here. Flacco's still got a great arm. I'm not worried about him. And in fact, I'm so grateful that we have a guy on our team, a backup quarterback like Flacco. I mean, think about it. There's no other team in the league that has a backup quarterback that at the level of Joe Flacco, right? I'm not saying he's elite. he's not Aaron Rodgers or he's not Patrick Mahomes, but I can say that I'm pretty comfortable with the fact that, unfortunately, with our number one down, I'm glad to have a guy like Flacco. If we were handing the Rolls Royce over to somebody like whomever, whatever other backup in this league there is, I wouldn't have such I wouldn't be so warm and fuzzy as I am. So I'm not worried about Flacco. I think the offense is still going to move. He's going to be able to move the offense. Everything around him now has to gel, right? We need to get that running game going. And to get that running game going, these guys on the offensive line are going to have to gel, So that's one thing I'm looking for. I'm only assuming that we're going to get at most a quarter out of these guys, probably not even that much. So I'd like to see us really develop and put together a drive on offense. Sure, who doesn't want to see a 50-yard bomb to Elijah Moore, so on and so forth? But even more so than that, I want to see us, hold the ball and get first down after first down. That's one thing I'm looking for on Mondays. I want to see how this offensive line gels. Now, I don't know if Fant's playing. You might know more about that. Like I said, I've been off the grid for a little bit.
Well, he played today in scrimmage.
He did. Yeah. And Dwayne Brown, I know that he's working out, but I don't know if he's game ready yet. So there's still a lot of that. I want to see those guys really gel. And on top of that, on the flip side, I want to see how this defensive line rotation really breaks down.
Yeah.
Right? I did hear, again, on and off that Curry got hurt, and I heard that Bryce Huff got hurt again. Yeah. So
he might be one of these injury guys.
The chat can give me details. Like I said, I've been off the grid, but I just heard that those two kind of got dinged up. I don't know if they were serious or not serious. So
I heard that Vin Curry was like limping off the field.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but it didn't sound like a Zach Wilson limp off the field. It sounded like he was frustrated. He threw his helmet. He was kind of limping. Now look, for the human being, I'm upset because what he lost the year last year because of his blood disorder. Mm-hmm. So as a human being, I'm upset for him. As a fan of the team, I'm not worried so much about the team. I don't even know if he was going to make the roster. So I don't, it doesn't kill us as a team, obviously, but I'm sorry for the man and I hope he's okay.
Sure.
And then for Huff, if it's anything real, then I'm concerned because is he going to be like just one of these kind of Ashton Davis, Blake Cashman kind of guys that's never going to be able to really
hasn't been able to stay healthy. Now again, this is just I don't know if there's any legitimacy to it or anything like that. I'm trying to find it now as we talk. But I heard that Curry and Huff were both dinged up. So if they're not playing, or if they are playing, I want to see how this. Hey, Adam.
No introduction.
Nice.
He just brings himself in. No introduction. He didn't let me intro.
No introduction needed. But that
no introduction needed.
That's how the offensive line gels. If they're all playing together is the one thing I'm going to look for Monday. And on top of it, I want to really see how this rotation develops on the defensive line. I want to see. I want to see how the defensive tackles play and what kind of time or what kind of rotation comes about. Again, I don't know how long the ones are going to play. So I don't remember seeing much from I don't remember seeing anything positive from Nathan Shepard last game against Philly. And I don't remember Solomon Thomas's name being called all too much. You guys can probably I was packing and getting ready and loading the car, so I was in and out of the game. But I don't remember Solomon Thomas doing or hearing him too much. I don't remember Nathan Shepard getting called at all. So those are some of the guys I'm going to look. I'm going to really, really, really study hard on Monday and see how they progress.
Yeah. What about you, Adam? Who you looking? Harry, by the way, says Curry was a hammy, and by the way, a hammy could be a season-ending thing for a guy that age. Like a hammy might be something that bothers him all year and stops him from getting on the roster for real. So we'll see. But Adam, what are you looking for in the game on Monday? What are you excited about?
I think one of the things that I'm really looking at is how much time does the first string offensive line get together? if we think about it, there's only one player who's going to be playing in the same position that he was at last season for this team. Every guard and every tackle has been moved around. So to me, I would want to see the first team offensive line get like the first half. I want to give them as many reps as possible because I don't expect them to play much together against the Giants, especially with Zach Wilson not there. So, yeah, on offense, I'm actually thinking about that above any position player at all. Bam Knight, of course. I want to see what else Bam Knight does because, that's definitely a guy I was high on from the beginning, and I hope he keeps up what he was doing. Outside of that, I think I'm going to be looking at the linebackers. I want to see who can make a difference, who can emerge as a starting linebacker, whether it's Williams, Sherwood, Nasruddin, Quan, Marcel Harris, DQ Thomas. We haven't really been talking about DQ Thomas at all. I haven't seen tweets about him. I haven't seen him mentioned on JetX. I haven't seen him mentioned in the newspapers. Yeah. Nowhere.
I know he was battling an injury early on. So maybe that comes into play with it. But I mean, with the Quan Alexander signing, I think the idea is that that DQ is gonna probably do anything or really have a chance at the final 53 kind of went down the waste pipe. My guess, and this is just a guess, is that they're gonna stash him on the 53. And see what happens, see how everything pans out, see if Sherwood's really healthy, see what happens with Nasruddin, see what happens with Quan Alexander, so on and so forth, see how this rotation is. And then if anything there goes wrong, you have a fallback guy to bring up and play.
And one other random thing that could happen, I'm sure he's gotten talking to, but I'll give you a name that I haven't watched the first hour and 50 minutes, but I'm willing to bet the name Grant Hermans may not have come up yet. The fact that this genius has already started fights with Carl Lawson and Michael Clemens. Yeah. Those are about the last two guys on this team that I would want to have a fight with. So now that they're practicing with another team, is he? I hope he's getting a good talking to from Salah about, hey, Grant, we're not going to take any more of this because now it's against another team and these guys aren't going to be quite so forgiving. I wonder if Herman's going to come up in the news between now and Monday.
Yeah, and I think Salah is going to be, I think my guess is that Salah and his staff are really honing in on the Jets, because they caught a lot of backlash for that Quincy Williams late hit, and his lack of attentiveness towards it. So, I could see that being kind of fresh in the forefront. If something goes wrong quick, you're going to see a quick hook of a guy or something like that. So listen, let Hermans. I applaud the aggressiveness, but also don't condone the stupidity of your own fighting your own guys.
Yeah, this is not Trevor Penning causing fights. It was a first round pick.
Man, I'm telling you.
Hey, I gotta take care of something downstairs. Can you guys hold the fort?
Sure can.
All right, I appreciate it, guys.
Right.
Everyone, I leave you Dom C and Y2K99.
So I was asking Jeremy, and kind of he segued to you on what you're looking like. Some of the things that I really want to look at on Monday is, and you touched on it as well, is I really want to see how much time this offensive line is going to get together, because I think at this point, forget about Joe Flacco and Zach Wilson not being there, so on and so forth. That offensive line and how they gel, how quickly they gel, is really going to be the linchpin on how our offense is going to be able to move. Right? We talked about Breece Hall and Michael Carter and all the weapons on the outside. That's all fine and dandy, but without kind of a unified front up front, it all goes to naught. So.
And one of the advantages of Joe Flacco is he does get rid of the ball faster than Zach Wilson does. And if it's an offensive line that's still coming together, that doesn't quite have everything in order yet, that might work out better for the Jets for that particular game. I'm not saying I want Joe Flacco starting like half the season, but against Baltimore, I'm taking out the revenge factor. I don't care where he played prior. I think he might be a better match for that particular defense. Oh, one other guy that I should mention as well, Lawrence Cager. Let's see what he does for an encore against Atlanta. Can he really solidify a spot on the 53? I never would have thought so. But he keeps going the way he is. He has a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, Y2K, but I don't know if I can get 100% behind it. To me, it's still like it would take a litany of things to happen for me to really justify him on the 53. Because we know, obviously, we know that Uzama and Conklin and Ruckert are going to be on the 53, right?
Of course.
And they're for sure, they're going to carry a fourth tight end. I assume they're going to carry a fourth tight end, right?
My thought is, at this point, I feel like you can give the spot, unless you want to really play some mental gymnastics with the roster, you can give it to a fullback or a fourth tight end. I don't know if they would carry both. And I really like Nick Bawden. I don't want to see Nick Bawden get cut.
But here's the thing. If the goal is to play more two tight end sets, you got to have four tight ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to have four tight ends. And I'm not saying, listen, Cager is a transformed wide receiver. We know what he can do with his hands and running routes and so on and so forth. But what can he really? Has he shown he can do anything as an inline tight end? No. I shouldn't say that because I haven't really watched. I haven't been to any practices. I only see what you guys all see here, or on YouTube or clips or what you hear. I can't imagine that in a couple months he's transformed into this, phenomenal blocker. My guess is that he is a long shot to make the roster. Now, for him to make a roster, you got to remember also that there's going to be somebody else that's not going to make it. We now know where the quarterbacks are going to lie, right? I assumed if Zach was healthy, we were going to go into the season with two quarterbacks. I didn't have Mike White. Yeah, I didn't have Mike White on my final 53. He's going to be there now, right? Obviously, you got to have him there with Zach out at least. We're assuming one game, if not more. I just don't know whose spot Cager takes.
I think you could get away with. Well, put it this way: I think you'd have 6 tight ends, not tight ends, wide receivers, as opposed to 7.
So you have Mims and Smith both making the roster as of right now.
Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't even mind going 5. The problem is I just don't think we have much depth behind the 4 to feel like I can't imagine a 5 wide receiver roster in this NFL. I just don't think you can realistically do it, even though I think our tight end depth is a lot better. So for me, when your offense is so predicated on running the ball, creating space, I feel like this is an offense that really needs a fullback. I think Bawden, if there's somebody else who could do more than what he does and block as well, I'd say great. I don't see that player. I don't trust Cager as a blocker yet. You know what the thing with Cager is? If you put him on the field at this point, isn't that maybe a signal to the defense that this is pretty much a passing play?
Yeah.
That's one of the problems.
Cager's got a lot of Mike Gesicki vibes, right?
Yep. That's great. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Big body, great with his hands. Great big body, great hands. Catches a ball like Tarzan, blocks like Jane. And listen, if you want him if you say, listen, we think down the road he can be a big slot, or that flex tight end kind of sort of what the role that Conklin played a lot of time last year in Minnesota, that's fine. But I just don't see where, the manipulation to get him on the 53 comes. I think Cager is destined for the practice squad. Get him out there, have him work on that blocking thing. And then next year he can battle for a spot, if he's not picked up.
I'd like to think he doesn't get claimed. I mean, the fact that he was a free agent, because last year he was on another roster, if I remember correctly. He was on the Jets 2 years ago, and I think he just came back, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't remember if he was on another roster or not, to be honest with you.
Somebody at least gave him a look. I know he has not been a Jet the entire time.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So other teams have had a chance to grab him is basically what I'm saying. So, yeah. So for me, I think you can get him through the practice squad if it comes to that. Go ahead.
He hasn't been healthy.
Exactly.
Exactly. He has yet to last, and he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So he's probably a guy that's going to sneak through the practice squad. Listen, Go ahead, after you.
No, I was going to say, and it's amazing. First of all, I made this comparison. I feel like Trevon Wesco is like the Nathan Shepard of offense. It's like the coaches love him, but like no fan knows what he does. We can't figure out anything he does well. But he just keeps staying around. Those are the Mike McCagnon picks that have lasted on this roster.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that would have happened at the time?
Right.
So to me, I don't need to see Wesco ever again. Kenny Yeboah, we've been waving the flag for him, but with a completely revamped tight end room,
Yeah.
I can't be sentimental right now. And from the only thing I've heard about Yeboah really is he dropped a would-be touchdown in practice this week, and that was pretty disappointing. One of my friends in the Virginia Jets group sent me that direct message. I'm like, dude, did you really have to do this to me?
His ship has probably sailed, but he's a guy I could see somebody taking a flyer on.
Oh,
yeah. Because he's definitely worth a roster spot on somebody's team towards the bottom there. So I can see somebody taking a flyer on Kenny Yeboah before they take a flyer on Lawrence Cager. So I just don't. Again, I don't know where Kenny Yeboah fits on the team. I think right now it's probably we're not going to keep both the fullback and Wesco. It's probably one or the other.
Right.
And I know everyone in Jets Twitter world loves the idea of Ruckert as a fullback, but I just don't see that happening either. I'm not saying that he can't do it, but
not this. Yeah, let's not put that on him. Let's let him learn the formations, learn the offense, learn how to work with Zach Wilson. I'm more worried about him as a pass catcher than I am as using him as a fullback right now. Let's not give him too much. He didn't even start blocking until he got to Ohio State, and he became a good blocker, but he's still raw when it comes to blocking on this level in the NFL. Let's not give him too much.
The draft pick of Ruckert was great, but the draft pick of Ruckert was something for 23 and 24 when they can get out of Ozama's contract if they choose to at that time. Conklin, I believe, is a 2-year deal. So Ruckert is kind of that next man in line, and it's a perfect situation for him, right? He does what he does very good, has a lot of learning still to do, a lot of development, a lot of skill development left. So why not get him in there and teach him and let him learn, but behind these two fabulous veterans that we have in Conklin and Uzama. But I don't expect much from Ruckert this year. I'm not saying he's not capable. I'm a big fan of the kid. But the reality is that if our season falls on the shoulders of Jeremy Ruckert, we're up Schitt's Creek.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe 2 touchdowns, maybe. I just don't think he's going to get quite so many reps. Let me pull this one up. And Cager played 1 game for Cleveland last year, so there you go. Michael, enjoy your pizza. Just make sure it doesn't have pineapple on it. Godspeed.
I think he's talking about. I think that's a jab at Jeremy. Jeremy's going to get pizza or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. You're ordering a pizza. Put it this way: the good places, for the most part, they're not open this late unless you're like right in the heart of the city.
That's right.
We've got, although I will say real quick, we do have a Benny's, which is the big Southeast place. All they do are 28-inch pizzas, nothing else. And so you get a slice of their pizza, it's like 2 slices of regular. And now we've got one about 10 minutes away from where I live. So if I need a delivery, I got to call into the hood, Newport News, but they'll deliver it.
Yeah. Oh, man. So getting back to Cager, I just don't somebody's got to really sell me on who's not going to make the roster that Cager is going to make the roster over.
How many wide receivers are you predicting make the roster and running backs?
Well, ideally, I think 6 and 4.
Okay, and when you say the 4, are you including Bawden, or is that separate?
I'm including. I think it's either going to, if the kid from NC State, Bam, really continues to play. I think he's and like I said, I was a fan of his tape, and I loved what he did in college on special teams. That I think people don't take into account is that he led the nation in kick returns for a year.
That's right.
Kick return yardage. So he offers something on specials that it's are we keeping Tevin Coleman or are we keeping Bam Knight is what it comes down to, I think. So yeah,
and for me, this is not a team that's like in a 1-year window. This is a team we're looking several years down the road. That's why I wasn't looking at Vinny Curry to make this roster. I'd rather keep Bryce Huff and Michael Clemens as opposed to Vinny Curry, who will likely be gone this time next year anyway. God bless him.
Yeah,
it just doesn't make sense.
So right now, I don't see us keeping less than 6 receivers, and probably 4 running backs. And if they keep Bowden. Maybe 3. I mean, that's even a risky proposition because you get one injury, God forbid Michael Carter goes down with another ankle or a hamstring or something like that, then you're really relying on 2 rookies, Bryce Huff or Tevin Coleman and Bryce Huff, or Bryce Huff and Bam Knight.
Oh, you're talking about Brees. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Brees. I'm sorry. Brees,
okay.
Bryce, tomato.
We'll all be doing it. It's good.
Yeah. So I think you got to keep 4. I think you're probably going to keep 4 running backs and 6 receivers to start. I don't see any situation where we take less than 6 receivers.
I would agree with that. I think, though, if there's one position you can replace, it is running back. And if you have a good enough offensive line with the run blocking like we should have, particularly up the middle, our guards, that's where the run blocking has to dominate because now we have 2 tackles that are a little bit more pass focused, particularly George Fant. Dwayne Brown's pretty good at both from what I can gather, but he's not like Mekhi Becton to me was clearly better at run blocking than he was pass blocking. I feel like now we have a little bit more balanced offensive line. So we're better running up the middle.
In what I saw from watching tape of Dwayne Brown last year, his run blocking was much more impressive to me than I expected to see. And vice versa for the pass block. I always thought that he was your prototypical, stalwart at left tackle, good pass blocker, so on and so forth. But Father Time has caught up to him, at least in the reps that I watched, really, really hard over and over and over. He definitely showed more as a run blocker than a pass blocker. He struggled in the film that I watched of him. And you can see, what I wrote about him in the article I wrote for my last article I wrote for Green Bean is that he struggled. He struggles really hard with those bendy speed type guys. He doesn't get to those sets as quick as possible, like he probably did 10 years ago when he was a little bit more fresher, had younger legs, so on and so forth. So, having 2 tight ends on the field might help, keeping somebody in there, in pass situations to kind of help chip, so on and so forth, might help him. But I think right now I'm much more comfortable with him as a run blocker. And it's funny because the way they balance the offensive line now, Laken Tomlinson's good at both. He's a proven professional, but AVT is definitely, after 1 year, is a stronger run blocker than he was pass blocker, right? You had him and Mekhi on the right side. I thought, oh man, that's great. We're going to run right. We're going to run heavy. You can put the tight end on the left side. You can leave those 2 on the island and let them do their thing. Now, George Fant, I'm not saying he can't play right tackle. I think he's going to do fine at right tackle. But as you said, he's much more known for what he can do in pass sets than he does in run sets. So where does the strength run? Now I think we're going to see a lot of power left as opposed to power right.
Yeah, Mike LaFleur's got to make these adjustments.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. And if the heart of your run blockers, if the best part of your offensive line with the run blocking is up the middle, then to me, I want an in-between tackle. I think we need that power runner. And Tevin Coleman is not that guy. Ty Johnson, spare me. Well, Michael Pirine is a jag. He's a guy. No, I'm never going to knock the guy. I'm never going to say he sucks, but he's just a replaceable guy. Every team in the league has a LaMichael Pirine.
Yep.
Let's see what Bam could possibly do in a few limited doses, and let's see if that can work.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense to keep Bam on this roster now even more.
He's got a little power, and I don't see a situation where both him and Tevin Coleman make the roster. I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that's possible. Yeah. To me, if you're gonna, give me the three halfbacks, the 1 fullback, 6 wide receivers tops, and it's tough for me to feel like we're going to carry both Jeff Smith and Denzel Mims, but what are alternatives at this point? I mean, Irvin Charles has done nothing. Who else do we? I mean, Tariq Black, spare me. DJ Montgomery, he's gone.
Yeah.
That's it. We don't have depth at wide receiver. So to me, I feel like if you do that, then you have room maybe for that fourth tight end if you choose to go there. You don't have to, but you have the option.
And you gotta imagine that they're gonna keep 10 offensive linemen, right?
Okay, let's think about that. Because I've been thinking 9.
Take the first 5. Take the first 5. We know they're starting 5. Okay.
Okay.
And then you're going to have Feeney. He's going to make the team.
McDermott.
I don't have McDermott. McDermott's on the bubble. I have Feeney is 6. Feeney is 6. Chuma Doga is 7.
Mitchell and Herdig. Yep.
Mitchell, Herbig. That's 8 and 9. And then right now it's probably going to be McDermott, I would assume.
I mean, in the depth chart, what's fascinating, the backup center is Ross Pierschbacher. I never would have thought that, but that's who we have listed as the backup center. I don't ever want to see Dan Feeney lined up under center again. Hopefully Herbig can fulfill that role if it comes to that. But I know there's a lot of Jet fans who are not Connor McGovern fans, but if he goes down, oh boy, watch out for those snaps because it could get nasty.
So correct me if I'm wrong. It's advantageous to the Jets to keep 10 offensive linemen as opposed to 9, right? Because they can keep more active on the active roster. Am I wrong when I say that? I'm looking it up right now. I think there's a reason why we want to keep 10 offensive linemen. Hang on.
I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, I'm not too sure of this, but
Jeremy, you can chime in if you like. We're talking about just how many, who's coming where, and how many who's gonna make it. And so
we haven't even gotten a defense, believe it or not. We've been on offense the whole time.
Oh, I think it's very possible it could be 9 offensive linemen. I just wanted to say that because I'm not saying that's what it is, but it's possible, and I'm saying that because you technically only need 9 to be able to dress 48. There's some technical. You're only allowed to dress 48 if you have a minimum of 9 offensive linemen. So that you're never going to see a team go under 9.
Yeah, and the Jets are about the last team. It seems every year there's a big offensive line injury. We're the last franchise that should be understaffed on offensive line.
Yeah.
So.
And with Salah's penchant and love for defensive linemen and this so-called, heavy rotation that he wants, I mean, there's gonna, and just the way our roster breaks down, I mean, 9 is a given, I think. 9 defensive linemen. So just say McDermott doesn't make the team, okay? So we're at 9 offensive linemen, we're at 9 defensive linemen. That's 18 right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tack on the 6 wide receivers we talked about.
6 wide receivers. Okay.
18, that's 24. 3 quarterbacks. I don't know how Zach counts towards the 53 considering he's injured. I mean, he's not on injured reserve, so he doesn't lose a spot. So you got to account for him, correct?
If they start him on IR, how long do they have to keep him or the pup, whatever it has to be? If he's on IR, how long does he have to be there? Because there are IR spots where you can bring a player back.
I think it's 6 weeks.
It's 6 weeks? I thought it might have been 4, but maybe it's changed to 6. Maybe it was 4 because of COVID.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's 6 weeks.
Yeah, and we're not going to roll him out for 6 weeks. He would just be inactivated. He'd be one of the 5 inactives.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all he could do.
So we're already at, what did I say, 24? We have somebody have a pen.
I'll write this down. Go ahead.
Okay. We have right now on the offense. We're at 9 offensive linemen.
3 QBs. Okay, 9 OL, 6 wide receivers.
Yep. Running back is the question. Let's just say 4.
4. How many tight ends do you want? 3?
I think we're going to keep 4. I think considering how much the 2 tight end set plays into this offense, I think there's going to be 4 kept on the 53. Maybe not all 4 will be active, but I think there's going to be 4 kept on the 53.
Okay. So that's 26 players. Now keep in mind, we got to keep offense and defense at 50 total because you need 3 spots for kicker, punter, and long snapper.
Yep.
So that means 24 from defense.
Okay.
We can't forget Thomas Hennessy for crying out loud. guys.
Look, he's the most valuable Jet.
He is the most consistent Jet.
He's
So
the best
24
Jet. The best
24
Jet in this position.
24 for defense. Okay.
24.
All right. So cornerbacks, I'm going to say 5. Actually, I changed that. I'm going to say 6 because you
Justin
got to
Hurd.
take into account Justin Hardy.
So Hardy, yeah. You have to.
And we might try to sneak Isaiah Dunn's actually looking better. I don't think he's making the 53, but they're giving him some praise lately. Played well in practice today. So
Yeah.
we can't
So
just
just
cast
say
him aside.
Say 6 defensive backs, 6 cornerbacks, that is.
6 cornerbacks, okay.
4 safeties.
You want to keep the 4 safeties, okay.
4 safeties, that's 10.
How many
That
lines?
leaves you with 4. That leaves you with 14. Are you going to? That's. Ooh. I mean, if you only did, a lot of us are talking about 10 defensive linemen. But even if you only took 9 defensive linemen, you only have 5 linebackers left to work with.
And I think that's how it breaks down, 9 and 5.
Wow.
I just want to quickly thank Daniel Faust. I was gone for a while, so I don't know how this came up, but Michael Clemens in Fast Times at Richmond High, 8 out of 10 movie clip. Jefferson makes Lincoln pay.
He's talking when he says 8 out of 10. There's if you ever go on the Movie Clips YouTube channel, they'll break down the 8 or 10 or 12 most pivotal scenes in the movie. So that's scene number 8 out of 10 from Fast Times at Ridgemont High on that channel.
Ah,
It's like the Cliff Notes version of a movie, except you get to watch the highlights of it. So
cool.
that's
So
pretty good.
he's saying to watch that one then.
yeah. So apparently, this I guess maybe this Jefferson is will remind us of Michael Clemens.
Yeah,
So-
did you ever see the movie?
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but this particular scene is not coming to my mind.
I saw it years ago. I remember it has that. Who's that guy in it? Was it Sean Penn that's in it?
Sean
Yeah.
Penn was in it. Yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh was in it with Phoebe Cates, enough said. That's the part I remember.
Well,
So-
thank you for the super chat, Daniel. I appreciate it.
Hang on, I gotta plug in. My battery's running low here, guys. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm plugged in. I'm not dropping off like I did the other night. Michael, oh boy. Okay. Oh, Sean's giving out some food advice. Michael Lando, get Domino's, get the chicken sandwich with pineapple, jalapenos, and mango habanero. I actually make mango habanero sauce, and it's good stuff if you get it balanced just right between the sweet and the sour with the vinegar in it. It's a great sauce, and it goes great with chicken, pork. Mango habanero is so versatile. It's great.
I used to, when I was in college, our meal plan that we had the card for, we had no cash, but we had these meal cards. They made a deal with Domino's Pizza. So we were able to order Domino's Pizza. And I got very into double bacon, double jalapeno.
Woo!
Some of the people in my hallway, and I guess I never even realized that I had, pretty decent heat tolerance, because people didn't even know, people were blown away. You could eat that. And it's jalapenos to me were never hot. Only if they're raw, cut them up. But once they were that fermented or whatever that they put on pizza, that's barely heat to me.
Jalapenos are tricky because you could get it. It might be mild. It might be hot. I mean, they're just so unpredictable. That's the issue with jalapenos.
That is true. It depends on the season and everything and how they're grown. All peppers are like that.
So we're at roster construction. Where were we? We said 15 or
You broke down the amount of linebackers and defensive linemen.
yeah, we're down to 14 between the defensive line
Yeah, that's what we
and
have.
linebackers. Now,
That's 53.
okay, so
Oh, it can't be
So who are your 5 linebackers that you want to keep?
well, I think it's obviously Quan Alexander, it's Mosley, it's Quincy Williams, Jamie Sherwood,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 5th one's up for grabs, right?
It's
The fifth one's up-
Nasruddin. It's Harris.
Yeah, it's one of those guys. I don't think it's DQ Thomas.
I don't think so either. Not at this point.
My guess, and this is my best guess, is that it's really going to come down between those 2 guys, Harris and Nasruddin. They're both going to, Nasruddin can produce on specials. I don't know if Harris does or can. I'm not saying he can't. Harris knows the scheme better. Nasruddin is more of a again, I don't know Harris's contract situation. I don't know how, I don't know how much of it's guaranteed. I don't know what we lose if we get rid of him. I can't imagine that they're going to, draft and invest in Nasruddin to just try to push him off onto the practice squad. He's a guy I think that'll get soaked up real quick.
Harris has his cap number is basically $1 million. It's like 1.041 million. Let's see if he's cut post June. It's 450,000 in dead money and just under 600,000 in cap savings. So it's very little guaranteed money. It's like less than $500,000. So,
but he's not eligible. He wouldn't be eligible for, due to his age and his tenure in the league, he wouldn't be eligible for the practice squad. So he's a guy that you're going to cut. So I think the fifth linebacker comes down to those two. And then the big question is what happens on the defensive line. I mean, what
about that safety they converted to linebacker? Was it Kai
Nakua? Yeah.
Any shot?
Nah, he's listen. There's a reason why they kind of converted him. He didn't have the chops to cut it as a safety. He's not nearly big enough. I think I think if it comes down to Kai Nakua or Nasruddin, it's Nasruddin, by a landslide.
And who is your pick? You said 4 safeties, so that would be Joyner, Pinnock, Whitehead. Who's safety number 4?
Ashton Davis.
Ashton Davis over Will Parks or Elijah Riley. Okay,
I that's my opinion. I like I said, I think Ashton Davis has the draft capital put into it. They've committed to him. I think he has the flexibility that he can back up both free and strong safety. I just don't think they're gonna cut bait on Ashton Davis that quick. I like Ashton Davis, the player. I know that he didn't have the greatest year last year. He still got a lot to prove, but he's an athlete, man. He's an athlete. No disrespect to Will Parks. No disrespect to Elijah Riley. I don't even think he's in the argument, but it's definitely, it's one of those things. I think Pinnock's a lock because Pinnock is the safety of the future. So, I think the last spot's going to probably come down between Ashton Davis and Will Parks. And then the defensive line, you got 9. I think there's 10 or 11 guys that you're going to really have that discussion about, right?
Those cuts might be the worst. Is defensive line for me? I would like them to keep Will Parks, by the way, but I think they will keep Ashton Davis because of the draft capital. Yeah. I do think that's the way that it's going to go down. But yeah, maybe the Curry injury. See, Curry is one player who I have felt from the beginning. It's like, okay, they're going to bring him back into camp. But as soon as they drafted Michael Clemens, I felt Vinny Curry's days are numbered. And if that injury that he sustained today turns out to be a significant one, it really is next man up. It's not a very forgiving business, but if that opens up more opportunity for Bryce Huff, for Michael Clemens, then I'm here to see it. And even Zuniga, I can't count it out. I'll give him credit. He's looking better than he has in 2 years. So I got to give him some respect for that.
Finally healthy, too. Hey. Finally healthy. Zuniga's another one of those guys. He's definitely on the bubble, probably on the weak side of the bubble. But he's a guy that if they try to push him onto the practice squad, I don't think he's going to last. I think he's going to get snatched up.
Yeah, I wish we didn't go 5 cuts, and then 27 cuts. 27 right at the end is just way too much to process, I wish we could just divide that in half, just do okay, let's do 12 here and maybe 15 here. Okay, but when you get all these updates, it's like this guy, it's like I gotta process all of this. That cut day, that is going to be Jet social media is going to blow up because there will be at least one cut that is going to drive the majority of the fan base crazy.
Well, I think it's going to be, and I think it's definitely going to be on the defensive line because it's going to be a guy like Vinny Curry or Jonathan Marshall who's played great in camp.
Yeah,
the baby elephant they call him, but Saleh loves Nathan Shepard for some goddamn reason.
He's got to have a reason. Shepard just must know how to give that 60% or whatever the hell he's talking about. I still don't understand the 60%, but now Salah's wearing 60% shirts now. We've gone from all gas, no break to 60%. How about this? How about we win 60% of our games? Can we do that? I'll take that 60%.
Well, let me ask you this: if based on our breakdown, if we're at 9 defensive linemen, walk through that with me.
Okay. Who are the 9 that we're going to keep?
If it's 9, you walk it through.
Okay, let's think about it. So up front, Lawson, JFM, Q, Jermaine Johnson. I think, let's see. Solomon Thomas, I think, stays. Jacob Martin stays. See, all the names are kind of going through my mind right now. I want to keep Bryce Huff. See, I am just not a Sheldon Rankins guy. I'm not. And I'm not a Nathan Shepard guy. I want to keep
Nathan Shepard's contract is easy to get out of. I don't know if Sheldon Rankins is.
See, I know it was going to be a $5.5 million savings if we had let him go. But at this point, would it still be the same?
I think they've already paid out. So I think they've already paid him most of that guaranteed money.
I'm just not a Rankins guy. And to be honest, Jonathan Marshall, I'm not sold on him either. I think he's redundant. I think I would feel better about seeing JFM play inside. I feel like that opens up more opportunities for Clemens and for Huff. I want Franklin Myers there as much as possible. But I think Thomas would make it out for me over Rankins, over Marshall, and over Shepard. So I think that's kind of where I would go.
I think Solid Thomas is. I dare I say I think he's a lock.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm fine with that. I don't have an issue. If Rankins was a lock or if Shepard was a lock, I would be annoyed by that. But I feel like there's more upside for Solomon.
Well,
Thomas.
I would be.
This kid's smart. Keeps playing like he's playing.
Denzel Smart.
Yeah, I mean, the way he played the other day was insane.
See, we're gonna keep thinking of these guys. You know?
I mean, if he keeps playing like that, I'd rather have him than Shep.
How many players would you take? Would you take Shep over at this point? I mean, I can't think of one on the defense.
I don't like Shep. I'm not a fan of Shep.
Who is?
Okay, so
outside of Salah.
Let me ask you this: if it came down to it,
okay,
Shepard or Solid Thomas? You think Solomon Thomas, right?
Thomas,
Shepard or Rankins?
That's the question. In that case, to be honest with you, I think I would take Shepard. I would take because I think he would save some money. He's a little bit better at run stopping. I'm not saying he's like Fatukasi, but I think he offers a little bit different package than what Rankins did. I just felt Rankins really, really underachieved last year. I expected better from him.
Yeah,
Rankins, so I'm just down on Rankins. I'm sorry, I am.
Yeah, but I know that they talk about him and his leadership and what he brings off the field, and I think there's something to be said about that. You know, that you got to have some of these veteran guys in there that bring stability and leadership to what is ultimately a very young team. And the Porn's back.
Well, I think between Joyner, Mosley, I'll even include Solomon Thomas. He's a young veteran. He knows what Salah wants. I think that's some pretty good veteran leadership right there. Let's see if Curry makes the roster. That's even more. So, oh boy,
it's like annoying, but it's also flattering because I went so long. I mean, Adam, you both have taken this ride with me. I mean, the fact that we're here at this point where we have to deal with this is also a huge compliment to how far we've come with this channel.
When you get your way up to sex spam bots, that's how you know you've arrived.
Yeah.
It's not about the super chats. It's not about being able to put up a poll. It's not about the ads. It's all about the sex bots.
That was great. Iowan is freaking funny. I cannot wait to meet this guy. I cannot wait to hang out with him. He is funny as hell.
I'm trying to find here. I know I saw something. Like I said, I was traveling all day on my way back from Canada, and I could have swore I saw something that Huff left injured today. I'm trying to find.
I did not see that at all. I only saw Curry.
Details.
I'll look it up, but I have not heard. Yeah, I have like all the notifications on from several beat writers, and I did not see anything. But I'll check it out. Let's see. Bryce Huff. Let's go to the news. Oh, Vinny Curry and Bryce Huff pick up new injuries. Okay. Let's see what we have. Huff out a couple of days. Okay. So Curry limped off. Well, okay. So this article actually references the Buffalo Jets fan. So right there, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Let's see. This is from heavy.com, so it's not always. You always have to be a little bit careful. So Huff, it's with an oblique. He should be out for a couple of days. So at this point, I would say he's probably not playing against Atlanta on Monday. So that is rather disappointing to hear.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world, but I was looking forward to watching him play against Atlanta. So,
Now, let me ask you I think I'm going to know your answer, but I'll ask both of you the same thing. If a roster spot comes down between Sheldon Rankins or Nathan Shepard or Huff, you taking Huff? Considering he's probably the fifth defensive end. Would you rather keep a fifth defensive end or a fifth defensive tackle in Shepard or Rankins?
I'm taking Huff because of the upside. I have to go with it. I think he's got some good raw ability. I think he could be what they imagine Jacob Martin already is. I think when he's been healthy, we've seen him be productive and cause some disruption. I'm not saying that he is a starter. I think he is a useful piece, and if they're going to keep rotating these defensive linemen, to me, Huff would fit in very well. I'm going Bryce Huff.
The $1 million word that you used there is when healthy. Mm-hmm. He hasn't been healthy yet. Mm-hmm. And I love him. I love the kid. Again, I think he's a guy. If you try to sneak him on the practice squad, he's not lasting a minute, right? If Hamilcar Rashid can get picked up the day after he's cut, somebody's rolling the dice on Bryce Huff, and he's going to make a 53.
Yeah, if they ever cut Huff, he's hurt now. We got to see what this injury is.
Oblique. Yeah, they said oblique couple of days. That's what I'm saying. A couple
of days. Okay, so if they kept Shep and dropped Huff, I might have to go to One Jets Drive with a sign and pick it a little bit.
I don't know why does the baseball pitchers have an oblique? They're out 6 weeks. Huff's going to get an oblique. He'll be out like 6 days.
Yeah, well, I guess it's the severity of it.
Yeah, it's the motion of what you're doing.
Yeah,
as a pitcher, I guess
it's a low grade strain, a high grade strain, or oh boy, I don't know. Maybe we all just need a little bit more size. Maybe if we're fat enough, it gets harder to strain the oblique. Maybe we just strain the fat and the muscle can't get strained. Maybe that's the advantage to not having washboard abs. So,
and listen, and Jets mess. Just put something in the chat right here, which isn't that far-fetched. If Huff's little oblique lingers, maybe you throw him on the pup and he's out for 6 weeks.
I was thinking that.
They'll look for an excuse. They'll look for a reason to put one of these guys on the pup list to keep somebody else.
Oh, absolutely.
I can absolutely see it. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. No question about it. That everyone does it. You do it all the time. If there's any little minor injury, that's a way of doing it, because you could protect somebody for 6 weeks. You don't have to worry about it, and you get to see. And if somebody else gets hurt, you put them in the injured reserve, and there's your spot for the other guy.
Yeah,
it's like every team does that, I think.
So these next couple cuts are going to be, listen, it's a good problem to have. It's something that we haven't dealt with in a while, but we're gonna be cutting some good football players. Very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, how many of us thought Tim Ward would be in the first round of cuts, or Rashard Davis? I didn't think that was going to happen. Not this soon. So I was genuinely surprised when I saw those two names on the cut list.
Did Tim Ward get claimed?
I don't think so. I'll look it up. I don't remember seeing his name come through. We know, Rashid did. Let's see. Yeah, free agent. Yeah, and he played not far from where I live. He played at ODU. So, Yeah, us local guys, we got a little bit of a rooting interest in Tim Ward. So hey, but no, free agent.
Interesting.
What's up, Eric Craig? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, Eric.
Gonna have him on sometime. Who would you have thought that Pittsburgh Steelers would pick up our first cut? Did the Steelers pick up one of our cuts?
Yeah,
Hamilcar Rashid.
they got Rashid.
Oh,
Yep.
That's a good sign when the Steelers are claiming our cut players. Who would have? That's actually a pretty good sign in my book.
Well, listen, and it makes sense because Hamilcar Rashid was an outside linebacker in college, you know, and he played most of the time, in a 2-point stance without his hand in the dirt. So we brought him on for his, his abilities, especially in getting after the passer. But he was in essence trying to learn how to do that with a frame that wasn't really built yet to have his hand in the dirt and play that nitty gritty on the line thing. So, him going to Pittsburgh completely makes sense. Like he's more so fit for that 3-4 mold, 3-4 outside linebacker. I could see, I was, Pittsburgh makes sense. I could see the Giants going after him, because they have a need for another guy. Like what they're doing right now is they're trying to turn Kayvon Thibodeau into that outside, 2-point stance on his feet outside linebacker. That should be an interesting.
The Giants need everything, especially on defense. That defense is going to be brutal. They might make a few big plays here and there, but they are going to give up all. They're going to be worse than I think we were last year on defense.
Well, the good thing is that they have a great defensive coordinator in Wick Martindale. Who knows how to scheme up pressure. You know what I mean? He can, he'll put something together to get pressure on the quarterback. He'll hide it, and he'll rush 6 or 7 out of you without hesitation. Now, can the backside of that defense hold up is the question, because you bring 6 guys, you bring 7 guys, your defensive backs, your cornerbacks better be able to, stick tightly in that man coverage.
Yeah, and at this point, Jabril Peppers is not in that secondary anymore.
Correct.
Who else? James Bradbury's not in that secondary anymore. Xavier McKinney's pretty good, but their starting cornerbacks are Adoree Jackson and Aaron Robinson. Xavier McKinney's okay. He looks okay, and I like Blake Martinez at linebacker. But outside of that, there's definitely not a whole lot of depth on this defense whatsoever.
Well, they got the kid. They drafted a cornerback out of UCLA a couple years ago who was good, but he's a slot cornerback who they're now playing on the outside.
Quincy Roche? Was that Quincy Roche?
No, Quincy Roche is an outside linebacker. Darnay Holmes.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, I said Darnay Holmes. Okay.
Darnay Holmes is he was great in college, but he's a slot cornerback by trade, who's now they're pushing out to the outside.
Oh, that's right. They drafted Darian Beavers as well. That was a guy that a lot of us were looking at for the Jets when we thought they might actually draft a linebacker. What a silly thought.
So, Giants got some, they're in the same situation that we were last year, right? They're in really year 1 of this rebuild.
They got some potentially good pieces, like between Ojulari and Thibodeau and guys like Darnay Holmes and guys like that. But how will it come together? Well, they do have a pretty good defensive coordinator to make that happen. But ultimately the players have to make plays, and I think they're going to go through some very, very serious growing pains.
Yeah. Our defense completely shutting down Atlanta screens.
Were they running the screens? Oh, that's good.
Well, it's exciting because what I think is when you look at our preseason games from last year and you look at our joint practices from last year and you look at even games we managed to win during the season last year, it sounds like the way we played against Atlanta today was the best we've ever looked against another team. That's what it sounds like. That's why I think people are excited.
Yeah, and it's still people still got to remember preseason is still just that. You can't hang your hat too hard on what happens in preseason, good or bad, right? Because you're getting the most vanilla defense out there. Like, people made a lot of Jets fans were utterly disappointed. Same old Jets. They came out, Philadelphia came out and threw the ball and did, ran the ball and scored at will that first drive, so on and so forth. But you're not putting any packages in there. You're running pretty much base defense here,
And let's not forget that Quincy Williams, his egregiously offensive penalty, as Coach put it, is the only reason that Philadelphia got the touchdown. They would have been off the field. It would have been a field goal attempt.
Yeah.
So let's keep that in mind.
True. There was nothing that I saw that was, it was very soft. It was a very soft defensive front that they had that first drive. Take the penalty out of the equation. There was no one I saw like in the defensive backs got burned. No big plays, no missed assignments. Just very, very almost like that whole, even though it wasn't, that whole kind of prevent concept. How they always say prevent defense is the worst. You just kind of just bend but don't break. We just bend. We just vanilla defense, bend, don't break until they cross the end zone. So I don't take that first drive against Philadelphia as like an omen to what the season's going to bring. I think we're going to see a whole different defense when we get on the field. At least that's where my hope is.
Yeah, I think they're nice. Chicago is dominating Seattle. Does that mean the Bears are going to be contenders for the NFC North? Methinks not. Which I'm sure Chris Braddock will be thrilled to hear that.
It's just nice to, like,
we know Iowa. We know.
It's just finally nice to be on like the positive side of it. It's just like, even though it's just preseason, it always feels like we're the short end of the stick. It's always about, Green Bay dominated us and the Eagles dominated us. And like to have a day of practice, go against a scrimmage against another team and actually hear good things. Like our running back broke for a 70-yarder, Sauce Gardner got an interception, and to hear JJ, our rookie, got a sack, and that Carl Lawson, who we're so worried about, will he ever come back from his ankle, got a sack. And, it's like when, it's preseason, but when do we get to experience that kind of positivity? Like it just hasn't happened a lot. So it's still, even though it doesn't mean anything as far as, it doesn't mean we're going to win 10 games. It doesn't mean we've accomplished what we need to accomplish this year, but it still for today feels good.
Yeah. I can hear that.
For sure. And tomorrow's another day. Let's hope it's anywhere close to what we had today. It's like every time now, after what happened to Carl Lawson, anytime we think about joint practices, we're just going to think about one thing, and that's injuries. Because the Lawson injury is going to permanently scar us when it comes to joint practices. I mean, when they did the scrimmages a couple of years ago down here in Richmond with the Redskins at the time, I mean, injuries weren't the news. It was all the fights that were breaking out. Every day there was a new fight. So it was pretty entertaining getting that news, but there really weren't serious injuries. But it's interesting to me that a lot of coaches say they prefer these joint practices over the exhibition games. They learn more from that.
Correct.
And that was fascinating to me because they could simulate certain conditions and, and you're really seeing your best players in these spots. So that was really fascinating. And that's one reason I'm paying more attention to these practices than I would have otherwise.
And it's just it's just different looks. Like, if you get George Fant lined up against Carl Lawson, 90% of the time, and I'm just pick those two names randomly, like you get to know what the guy's moves are. You get to know what his tendencies are, so on and so forth. You learn very quickly how you can win the rep, right? You bring in these other guys in these joint practices. It's just different looks and different feels and different, different situations that you really have to produce to win the rep.
Yeah, and you get to find out. It's like a guy like JJ, when he's going up against, certain players, or Quinnen Williams going against certain players, and then the other way around, Laken Tomlinson, when he's not going against Quinnen Williams, how does he look against this other team's players when it's not necessarily possibly a superstar, right? Like, but just, a regular good starter in the league. And like, how does it look in that situation as well? Because sometimes in some of our positions, when you have a Quinnen going up against a Laken, it's like if one wins or a little bit more, like, are we worried about the one that's not winning? Or is it just Let's wait until we get to finally see both of them against just a regular guy. And sometimes they'll have to go up against great guys, but the point is, it's just interesting to see. It's just really interesting when they have those opportunities and we get to see a little bit more of what we have. And I love that Mariota tried to throw at Sauce Gardner and he picked it off. I think that's just great. And I hope it happens in the regular season.
And with Sauce, when you hear that at points of practice, Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner are going at it, that they're going at it one-on-one. It's like, these top two rookies are going head-to-head. What's it going to look like when they're not facing each other? What kind of a vibe are we going to get? And you know what? They're both having their moments. I mean, seeing that fake out by Elijah Moore, I mean, shoot, he broke my ankles just watching the thing on Twitter. Okay, I felt a ligament in my ankle literally fall out of my foot watching that. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I saw something on Twitter, like Saleh paid like the best compliment possible to Elijah Moore, saying that he hasn't seen a player his age, so young, come in and really learn how to be a professional so quick as Elijah Moore, and the sky's the limit for that kid, man, and listen, I'm not saying sky's the limit, like he's going to be the best, he's going to be, talked about in the same liking as Devontae Adams or Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase this year. But I mean, to have guys in the room that have the ability that Elijah Moore has just makes me feel so warm and fuzzy, right?
The exact words that I could feel sense you were going to use was warm and fuzzy. That's awesome.
No more DJ Montgomerys or Chancey Stuckeys of the world, right?
And let's not even get going on the tight ends. I mean, I could go. No more Frank Gore. God bless him. Much respect. But no more Frank Gore 35 times a game for 2 yards.
Oh, man.
Guys, doesn't that feel like 10 years ago? It was like 2.
No.
Isn't that crazy?
And that's what I was going on about before. It's like, how could you come over out and say that somebody doesn't, come out and say that we shouldn't have reason for hope when that's what we were just 2 years ago?
You've got to put it this way. The only real reason to be negative is because you're a Jets fan and you're scarred. If you take the Jets name off of this team and you just call them the whatevers, you call like the New Jersey Stallions for all I care, you would feel like this team could do something this year. But we've got that PTSD as Jets fans, and so we're afraid to hope. But I am not somebody who believes that past history will affect what this team is going to be. Not when you have this young of a roster, this young of a coaching staff, this general manager. This is a new era. What we did under the Kotite era or the Gase era is not affecting that. They know how to handle the media, and I got to say, they know how to handle us. They know how to handle the fans, and even the most negative Jets fans. We don't need to go through the names. We know the kind of guys I'm talking about. I feel as though they're at least being coached mentally in the right way and how to handle that. Now, I want to see these coaches handle things during the games, making the right decisions, being tough when they need to be tough, those types of things. But as far as coaching them as men, I definitely like what I see as far as that goes. Now, let's see that translate to victories.
Yeah, that dovetails on something Jeremy and I were talking about earlier, about Saleh and particularly. Like, it's definitely, you can tell he's definitely a leader of men, which is a phenomenal attribute, what you want as your head coach, Now we need to see that translate to how he coaches, because leading and coaching are apples and oranges, you can tell that Saleh's a leader, like it or not. The realist in me says the jury's still out to see if he's a coach, right?
Yep.
I don't think it's an unfair statement, and that's not a knock on the guy. It's just the reality, He's learning, He's in his second year doing this, right? Last year was a whirlwind for everyone, for all the rookies. Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Brandon Eccles, Robert Saleh, Mike LaFleur, Jeff Ulbrich. You know, these guys were all rookies. So we need to see the second. We need to see that second year improvement on at all levels, including our coaching staff as well.
And when we talk about professionals, we talked about what Coach said about Elijah Moore. If he's the quickest transition into being a professional that he's ever seen, I guarantee you Michael Carter's right there behind him.
Yeah.
Michael Carter, I could see realistically becoming like a captain one day. I could see him in that kind of a role. I could see him being here for like 8-9 years. Maybe not as the featured back, but I just imagine him as that guy who's just going to stay around, help be that mentor, instill that Jets culture. I think he's that kind of a guy.
Like Leon Washington was, like Bilal Powell was, right?
Bilal Powell was kind of the guy. I felt like a little bit more dynamic version of Bilal Powell. That's kind of my thought.
I'm watching the Brees Hall run right now. My God.
I haven't seen it yet. Like I said, I was traveling all day. I saw on Twitter that he popped one off for 70+, but
good.
I haven't seen it yet.
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Like was it would it have been a touchdown in a game? Like, did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
easily.
It was an end run, right? And there was one guy, but the guy. I mean, it was basically the way it was formatted. We're going to do a great job and take everybody else out of the play, but you're going to have to beat this guy, and this guy's going to have a clean shot at you. But he put this move on this guy like a juke, where the guy did he even come within 3 feet of him, Adam?
He seriously made some of those Atlanta players, I thought they were just jogging. They looked like they were on a casual jog around the park on a Saturday morning. He made them look like they were practically standing still. That's how good it was. Maybe they just figured we don't have a chance against this guy. I think they were that demoralized against this offense. There's one guy who came on late, but no, as soon as he got that little bit of a break, it was like you knew he was taken to the house.
Like I say, some of these touchdowns that you see in practices or scrimmages or even these joint practices, like, all right, yeah, you see the guy, he crosses the end zone, but the defense really doesn't touch him or anything like that. So I'm just curious to see if this would have been a touchdown in a game, or no, the safety kind of let up and didn't go after him or anything like that. So that's what I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I would definitely say it would have been. I would still say the Elijah Moore juke was my favorite move of the day, just like Situation's talking about. Just seeing that move by Moore, I thought, oh, there's the juke. Oh, that was the juke. I thought it actually happened one step before it actually happened. So that he faked me out. That's what I was talking about. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that's what made me so excited.
Well, as a fan, can I say this as a Jets fan? Can we lay off the jukes in preseason? We saw what it did to Zach. It's practice. Take the ball and go out of bounds.
Elijah's meniscus is built differently than most. But yes, we definitely get your point. It's a fair point.
So trying to find the play.
Yeah, I mean it's a clip on the Jets channel, so we could probably play that on here, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now. So
okay. Yeah, they did put up quite a few tweets today. They're putting up quite a bit of highlights, so which is actually a pretty good thing. That means there was stuff worth showing. Now tomorrow, do we know with this joint practice if it will be essentially the same format as it was today?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I've been off the grid for 10 days, so.
Oh shit! Sorry about that, guys.
Is that Dom's new intro music?
I clicked on the wrong thing, but I'm gonna try to.
Yeah, I've got the Elijah Moore one here on my phone. That was pretty. Yeah, I got that.
I'm gonna share. Hold on one second. I'm gonna do it now.
I'm watching the Moore move again. Oh my gosh, this isn't even fair.
This is not the best situation, but it's. 1 second.
Yeah, I've got the Brees. It was like 11 hours ago. Yeah, I've got the Brees clip, and they show it from 2 different angles, which makes it even better.
Okay. Whoa! I thought I had it, and then it lost it when I shared it like that. That's annoying. Darn
it. Just go to the Jets. Just go to the official Jets Twitter.
Okay.
Or I could. All right. Let me send it to you direct message. I'll do that.
Oh no! Just share it, Adam. You could share it. You have sharing ability here.
I haven't tried, but let me see.
Yeah, just hit the share button.
Okay, share. Yeah, because I'm on Twitter.
If it's on the same tab, then hit Chrome tab. If it's in a different window, then you got to look for the right window.
Yeah. See, this is the whole
And
new
shut the
tech
audio
thing.
off. No audio,
Okay.
just in case.
I don't think that's a problem. I'm pretty sure that the thing is muted.
Okay. Let me get rid of this. I'll just say, hello, situation report. Check your Twitter, DM.
Oh, I see it. I got it here. I can share this maybe.
And either of you can share it, and then all I have to do is select it.
Okay, hang on.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've got the clip here on another tab on my computer. It's just a matter of figuring out how to do it.
Like there's 3 buttons, so you have to select the tab.
Okay, share.
Share, and then pick tab, like other tab.
I got it.
Okay,
Doesn't matter which one.
that's not doing.
Whichever one of you.
The finding is easy. The sharing is the challenge.
Well, how many windows do you have open on your
Here
computer?
you go.
Like
I'm
3.
sharing it right now.
Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Okay, let me see if I can make this whole.
Yeah, it's muted. So yeah, you're good there.
Okay, let me see if I can blow
Boom.
this up. Play that one more time.
Yeah, that's just one angle. The Jets Twitter feed has 2 different angles of it.
But look what he does to that one guy.
Outside zone. Boom.
Boom.
That one guy.
That was it.
That one guy got so beat. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
So-
amazing.
So I'm watching this again.
Make it the full screen if you can.
Yeah, there's the little.
Okay.
There you go. Now let's watch it one more time.
All right. Let's rewind it.
Beautiful. We max it. Is it maximized?
Who is that? I'm wondering if that safety really.
Let me
Let
watch.
up.
I'm gonna watch this on my other feed. See if I can figure it out. 39, number 39 from Atlanta, and oh my gosh, he's like, damn, he got me. Like you could actually just see like his body language. He was defeated. I'm gonna look this up. Falcons roster 30. Let's see if this is anybody we've ever heard of. Was that? There was no way that could not have been Deion Jones. Corey Ballentine. Oh my God, it was Corey Ballentine. He's still around.
Wow, that cut inside is amazing.
Yeah, I think that was it. Was Corey Ballentine. That's who it was. Of all
That
people.
cut inside. Did you see that cut? That's amazing.
What number is that? I don't have my glasses on. I can't.
No. Yeah,
Who's
Dom,
chasing him?
Dom, that's what I'm telling. Oh, who's chasing him? Okay, so
Yeah.
30. So Ballentine is who he faked out. All right, and that's why I'm using the Jets Twitter thing. 23 is chasing him, and 23 is Eric Harris, free safety. 7 years in the league from California and Pennsylvania. So Eric Harris. So I didn't even know. To be honest with you.
I mean, he did this move where he does this. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Just an incredible move.
So Corey Ballentine, he faked out. Eric Harris chased him in futility.
I'll stop sharing. Boom.
Okay.
Yeah, that cut is that's high level stuff. I mean, but that's exactly what that and again, that's the first time I saw it, so I haven't really looked at it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I just DM'd it to you. Yeah, I just DM'd it to you and Jeremy so you could see it on the Jets angle. So I just sent that to your Twitter.
Yeah, I'm looking
So
at it right
you'll
now.
get a little bit of a better angle from 2 different views. I think that'll help give you some perspective on it.
Yeah, I wonder if 23 really catches him in real time. He's gaining on him. I don't know.
Little bit, and then he's still. I didn't feel like 23 actually slowed down, to be honest. Let's see. I'm watching this acceleration. It's that second angle on here when you can really start to get a sense. He's coming down from the angle. See, that's the thing, Dom. He's not right behind him. It's like Hall's going this way, and Harris is coming this way, so that they would converge. So from that angle, I could see why it looks like he's gaining on him, but he's really not. So
Yeah, that cut though, boy. Whew. I mean, like I said, he is built. He is built for the outside zone. That one cut and go. He hits that gear when he makes that cut. he just plants and goes, man. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's special, dude. It's special.
Yep. Yeah, he's he was just in cruise control. If jeez, he's gonna be special. I'm excited.
Man,
I'm excited.
Hopefully we're in a position where we're in close games and ahead a little bit, so we can control the game with some running. Hopefully we're not in a position where third, fourth quarter we feel like we have to start throwing the football.
What do you think? Whole floor is taking.
Floor? Ooh. There's a number of factors that you have to consider when you're answering a question like this, but it's a good one.
Well, I'll say this much to this from Trin. I don't know. I mean, if you're looking for numbers on the floor, I don't know if I'm able or ready to give you that. I'll look. I like to take these guys as a unit, and I think the floor is very high for this running back tandem. Because I think they both offer a lot of the same skill sets. They both have a lot of the same skill sets that we talked about. Their quickness, their agility, their ability to break tackles, their contact balance is elite and elite in both of these guys. You're not going to stop them with the arm tackles, so on and so forth. So if the offensive line can gel and we get the production that we need, from our tight ends and our wide receivers, where you're not going to be able to key in and put an extra body up in the box to stop this down. I mean, the floor is very high for this running back tandem.
Yeah. Bowden's got to make the team.
Yeah. Bowden.
I mean, here's one thing that I think he has in his favor. He plays special teams and he does it well. He can block in those environments. I think Brant Boyer is going to want him on this team. And I think that goes a long way considering how long Boyer's been with this franchise. So and that's one of the things that bothers me the most about Denzel Mims is between his size, his speed, and he's supposed to be a good blocking wide receiver. It's like, why doesn't that translate to special teams? I would feel a little bit better about Denzel Mims if he could do something like that. But Nick Bawden can. And that's why I do have a pretty good feeling that he's going to make the roster in addition to his run blocking ability.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Wow.
Taking the family to NOLA. Ooh, very nice situation.
Nolans.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that.
I'm not an olive. You know what? I do not like olives, but I will say a good muffaletta from Central Grocery is a pretty fantastic sandwich. I gotta say.
It's gonna be hot and humid there this time of year, though, isn't it?
It's hot and humid there any time of the year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I was there like the week after Mardi Gras one time, and yeah, it was still pretty hot.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to travel a lot, and I've never been down there. That's one place I got to get to.
Yeah, I've been there twice now. It was actually, I'll tell you, the first time I was there for like one day. It was after Hurricane Katrina. I drove down with the church I was going to at the time from Chicago. We drove from Chicago down to New Orleans, and we stayed in Gulfport, Mississippi, and we helped renovate some houses. So one night, a few of us decided to take the van and drive it to New Orleans, and they asked me to drive. I've been driving like Honda Accords and Civics all my life, and I'm driving an 18-seat passenger van into downtown New Orleans. Great idea right there. And the whole time we're just driving around the streets, and you could literally see buildings tipped. Like it looked like the Leaning Tower of Pisa on Bourbon Street. Like a year later, like these buildings were literally tilting. So we drive around, and the whole time I'm just like, I need 2 parking spaces. There is no way in hell I'm going to parallel park an 18-seat passenger van. But we finally get one, and we find like this little mini mart. Like your typical, like kind of like that sort of like you had the convenience store in front, but you got the deli counter in the back. It was that kind of a place. And we ordered, I think for the 4 of us, like 3 po' boys, an order of ribs, and an order of meatballs. And it took them about 50 minutes to get everything done. and I specifically said no mayonnaise, and the frickin' thing had mayonnaise on it. So I had to run back into the store and get about 30 or 40 napkins just to take the mayonnaise off the sandwich. So it was fantastic, but yeah, I was like, what part of no mayonnaise did you not understand? So,
Oh man,
That's
good stuff.
yeah, but yeah, the beignets from Cafe du Monde, of course, the original Emerald's restaurant. That's when I learned that a drum is not a drumstick; it's actually a piece of fish. I didn't know that. So I had a piece of fish that was literally crusted in andouille sausage and the best banana cream pie in the world. The best banana cream pie.
That's what I'd go for. Banana cream pie all day.
One banana cream pie at Emerald's has literally 6 bananas in it. One pie, 6 bananas.
Wow.
Every time I could get to an Emerald's restaurant, it's not very often, but in Vegas, New Orleans, or Florida, if the banana cream pie is on the menu, forget about it. I'm getting the banana cream pie. It is I cannot pass that up, no matter what.
Yeah, that's kind of my jam. I could get down with that.
Yeah. And I make some pretty good banana pudding. And I'll tell you this: a little secret to banana pudding. I'll give it to you guys. Most people use vanilla wafers. Use Pepperidge Farm Chessman cookies. Way better. Way better.
Interesting.
That's what's going to make it.
Good stuff.
The Dark Soldier. If someone puts mustard on a sandwich, I will not eat it, not even wipe it off. So, there's different. For me, it's like certain mustards for different things. It's like, I don't know. Like the yellow to me is great on a hot dog, but nothing else. That's the only time I would ever use yellow is on a hot dog. Dijon, it can work, but yeah, spicy brown's kind of my go-to. That's right. Yep, Eric. Yep, you want it dressed. Yep. So I got the lettuce, the tomato, and but some places use like a remoulade. They don't use straight mayonnaise. I could deal with if it's like spiced up, if it's got flavor, but if it's just straight mayonnaise, I just can't do it. Don't know what it is, but yeah, the whole dress is typically like lettuce, tomato, some type of mayo, maybe pickle on that bread. So, ooh, pumpkin pie cheesecake. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, you better be bringing one, Iowan.
Yeah, Iowan.
I'll make the trip for that one.
Mustard is garbage. When he's
I like mustard.
I should drag him to Katz's Deli and he should try a real brown mustard, a real deli.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And everyone makes their own mustards now. I mean, you can buy like Nathan's mustard in the store, and man, all these places are releasing mustard. I mean, Nathan's has mustard and hot dog buns and pickles, and man, they're releasing everything under their own brand name. I think you could buy napkins with the Nathan's logo if you really want to.
Yeah, well, why not? It's a marketing thing. They could just slap it on anything.
Why not?
A factory that makes sauerkraut and says we're going to slap Nathan's on it. And
you know what the craziest thing is? They sell like 8 or 9 different types of Nathan's hot dogs in the supermarkets. But if you want to get, like, there's only one store where I live where you could get the original ones with the natural casing, because that's the real Nathan's.
Those are the only ones that matter, yeah.
Right, and like 5 hot dogs. Now it's like $9.
Yeah, any hot dog,
crazy.
Any hot dog that's not in its natural casing, I'll throw it right the fuck out.
It's not the same.
Right the fuck out.
It's so true, and it's like they're bragging about it, like, skinless, and it's like it's a
it's like skinless. In other words, tasteless, snapless.
This natural casing.
It's got to snap. It's got to snap when you bite it. It's got to snap when you bite it.
That's right.
That's just
the best hot dog I find out here. There's a place called Cordy Brothers. And they have all the Boar's Head products, and they have Boar's Head hot dogs, and that's in the casing. You slow grill it, and you get that snap, and they're the best ones I have out here available.
Yes.
So, it's like, by God, though, it's like skinless, like it's a good thing. I just don't. It's like the crap. To me,
I mean, this is not like an eggplant or something or a potato. If you want to peel it, you're kind of losing it when you do that. Yeah, so
this is great, bro. If I'm spending $5 on a hot dog, I better knock my freaking socks
right.
off. Make me rethink my life.
That's what you pay for a hot dog at the Nathan Stand. It's pretty much $5 a hot dog. That's pretty much what you're going to pay.
When my grandfather grew up, because my dad grew up in an apartment in Brighton Beach, 10-minute walk on the boardwalk from Nathan's. When my grandfather was younger, he told me, he remembers when it was a nickel. For my dad, it was I think it was a dime for a hot dog and a drink. and then for 15 cents you could add the fries or something like that. That when my dad was a kid.
Wow.
And now it's $5. But let me tell you something. It's for the one day I'm going to be there for green beans thing, like the amount of times I get to Coney Island, the last thing I'm thinking about is I don't care. Like, here's $20. Give me 3 hot dogs, fries, and a drink. I don't care if it costs $20 because it's like the perfect lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There used to be this. There used to be this hot dog. I don't even call it a hot dog stand, but this place called Jimmy Buff's. It's in West Orange, New Jersey. They closed now. I don't know if
they closed.
Yeah.
They have 2 locations, though. I thought there's one in West Orange and one in like Kenilworth. I think there's 2.
But Jimmy Buff's used to have for $2.50. You used to get the double Italian hot dog, like a real Italian hot dog, on the pita bread, hollowed out. The hot dogs with the casing, super fried in the in the oil, the potatoes, the onions, the peppers. Oh man, I miss it.
I saw that like on a hot dog program. I think that was the name of it, was a hot dog program. I'm looking it up right now, and they're definitely open in Kenilworth. They definitely haven't closed.
I only know the one in West Orange.
Yeah, that's the original.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 2 locations. I'm on their website right now. Unless they closed and didn't update their website. And I got to say, their website looks like it was made around 2006. I think it is the Kenilworth. I'm going on their Instagram. I think maybe they're just open in Kenilworth at this point, but they're not gone. And I know you can order their stuff on Goldbelly. I know you can have it. Yeah. For those of us who don't live close, we could have it shipped. But the one time I've had Jimmy Buff's, and I'm ashamed to say it, was when I was in town visiting my dad. We went to a Devils versus Penguins game. Oh my gosh, was that painful to watch? Considering I'm not a fan of either team. But yeah, it was fun for a little while. But yeah, it was annoying. The highlight was going to Jimmy Buff's because they had a Jimmy Buff's inside the Rock, inside the Prudential Center. Yeah. But didn't get the original. I heard that one, and also in Clifton. I've heard Clifton. Rutt's Hut.
Rutt's Hut, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that they make their own relish. That's just unbelievable.
Rutt's Hut is not the Italian. They're not known for the Italian hot dog as much as Jimmy Buff's was. But Rutt's Hut, you can get a couple all the way with the relish and the onions, and oh man, Rutt's Hut's still there.
That's the thing. A good hot dog is great, but a bad hot dog sucks. So true.
We might be embarking, as you're talking about hot dogs, this message from Iowa really scares me. We might be embarking on a big problem. He says, has anyone heard from Rob V lately?
Iowa, what made Rob V enter your mind exactly? That's my first question.
Because if he can't get Rob V in touch with him, like if suddenly he's went like missing.
Maybe Rob
V is the key to his trip to New York.
I think I would probably kidnap Rob V. I think that's what's going on.
No, if Rob V is missing, where does it go?
I think I was faking being concerned. I think he's holding Rob V hostage with duct tape over his mouth. Oh boy.
Oh, it's not that. You sent him a half dozen of Iowa sweet corn. But hey, I'm the one on this channel that made it all happen. Where's my sweet corn?
Dude, that's a long way to send it. I know good sweet corn after living in Chicago for 20 years in the burbs, because I was like 5 minutes away from where all the farming began. And yeah, I cannot buy corn anymore on the East Coast. There's a lot of things that are great here. I cannot buy corn anymore. It is not the same.
Man, I remember New Jersey when we go into the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, and when we used to go to the Poconos, and we would stop in like Port Jervis and on this like a stand and buy this sweet corn. And when you bought it in June, it was like right around the right season. When you bought it in June, it was like eating candy. It was just candy. It was so incredible, so delicious.
Yeah, I mean, when you flavored it, like all I had ever saw my family put on was just a ton of butter and salt. And then when you go to like some of these fairs and they have like all these different spices, like the lemon pepper and the Cajun seasoning, and they brush the melted butter over it. And then when you find out about street corn and the Lotus seasoning and all that good stuff, it's like, oh my gosh!
In June, you gotta get in June. Jeremy's right. The corn and you do it with butter and Old Bay, man. There's nothing better.
God, it's so good.
Old Bay is interesting. Like, I'm in Old Bay country right here, like from Baltimore to South Virginia. That's like the Old Bay country. And to me, it's like, it's good, but for me, it's just so salty. Like, the celery salt is so strong in it that it can overwhelm stuff. To me, it's like, it's very good, but to me, it's like, I've had some better spices.
I don't know.
It's good stuff. But
There's something about that on corn that does it for me. So, anyhow, gentlemen,
that would work.
I got a lot of sleep to catch up on, so I'm going to gracefully bow out. It's nice to be back on the grid and with you guys, with my family here, and with the guys in the chat. But my bed is calling me. I need it. It's been a long 10 days.
Yeah, and my pizza is actually here. My wife surprised me and ordered some pizza. So, guys, make sure you check out Dom C's articles on greenbeanjetsfan.com. Make sure, if you have not subscribed to New York Sports Wicker Media, come on, give me a break. Adam is working his tail off. He's on the wicker chair. He's making great videos. He's putting in the effort. He does the Jets. He does the Rangers. He does the Mets. They're great videos. You see how knowledgeable he is. Sub up to his channel. New York Sports Wicker Media. It's not hard to find. Be there. Do it right now. Do it right now, guys. Just sub to his channel. Help him out. Let's give him a big push. And, man, I want to thank everybody for a great night. Thanks, guys, for coming on. That was fun. I had a great time hanging out with you. And let's move on into the finale. Let's see, what did I already play? We'll play this. But thanks, guys. I look forward to seeing everybody again on Sunday night. What are you going to do, guys? You're going to go over and you're going to subscribe to New York Sports Wicker Media because Jets Chaos says so. Good
That's
night.
it.
Thank you.
I would
Oh,
regret
man.
it if people look back at the first episode and you weren't on it.
Yeah, well, I like that. It's called forward thinking.
have one of the worst beats in the world. We do. Our beat is horrible.
Connor could shove that article up his ass.
And then I went to that game and I was like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen in my life. I'm a Jet fan. This is going to be the greatest run ever. Yeah.
No, because if they take Aquanu, I'm not complaining.
Joe Douglas is the king of keeping shit close to the vest.
A 2, a 4, and a 6 for Darnold.
Did the Jets really ruin Sam Darnold, or did Sam Darnold just suck all along and we were just trying to talk ourselves into it?
And Hamilton is a player who can potentially make a very big impact.
And suddenly, here we are today. You can't get rid of him.
Right. It's like a plague.
Joe Douglas was hired because he's not those general managers.
Okay, Luscious.
Somebody is going to fall just like Elijah Moore did, just like Michael Carter did.
You know, what would, if you had one sentence to say to Joe Douglas, what would you say? So you would say, you had me at hello, and then give him a big old wet one right on the smack.